I'm Kev Richards, commentator at Archerfield International Speedway, and we are here for the 93-94 Australian Super Sedan Car Championship up here in Brisbane in sunny Queensland. The excitement has just stopped from the Indy on the Gold Coast. 2 weeks later, back here at Archerfield International Speedway for one of the top events on the Speedway calendar. Over 55 cars arriving here between Wednesday and Thursday. The official practice being held and machinery on Thursday afternoon from 1 p.m. The practice from 7 till 9 on Thursday night. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we extend a very, very warm welcome to all our Speedway fans from the length and breadth of Australia here for the official 93-94 Australian Super Sedan Car Championship. A very, very warm welcome indeed goes to all the drivers from West Australia, South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales, and not forgetting the Apple Isle, Tasmania, to all those crews, families and friends, mate. Alan Butcher, a twice national champion, car number 83. Without doubt, two top chances here for Queensland tomorrow night during the 35-lap final. Alan Butcher, Ian Marshall, a host of chances out there trackside. Don't the cars make one hell of a spectacle rolling out of the top? Awesome Fire, car number 5 from Victoria. Robert Gray, as I mentioned, from West Australia, car number 24. Car number 46 from Victoria, 46 door number, car number 2, just moving past our race headquarters. Kerry Reichstein from the Northern Territory, Johnny McGeorge, car number 98. Steve Manning, 29. Car number 95, I must admit I'm just trying to find a door number on a few of these race cars. Chris Stewart from South Australia, driving car number 1, Chris Stewart. I tell you what, as I've been saying here quite a few times during tonight's racing, one of the best spectacles you will find on any Speedway circuit. The very best on the length and breadth of Australia plus Tasmania assembled here tonight and tomorrow night at Archerfield International Raceway. Alan Baker. In New South Wales 3, Johnny Sheehan from Queensland, car number 4. Neville Eltz from Victoria. A very potent Ford Capri, car number 5. Keith Ruback, Queensland 6, Nick Girdlestone from Murray's Race Parts, Queensland 7. Craig Voss Bergen from West Australia, car number 8. Queensland 9, Paul Geary along with Roy Granger in Queensland 10. Bernie Wayland from New South Wales, a Pontiac Firebird, car number 22. Paddy Ward, apparently one of the hot shoes from Orange and Dubbo in New South Wales. Out there in the EV Falcon, driving New South Wales 24. Ronnie Pine from New South Wales, car number 13, a VN Commodore. A Chev Camaro for Lindsay Hawkins in Queensland 14. Victoria 15, Ronnie Dalton, a Chev Camaro. An EV Falcon for Robert Carrick from New South Wales, car number 16. Peter Reeves, one of the hot shoes around the Bendigo Ballarat Speedway circuits, driving Victoria 37. A Mazda RX-7, Donnie McEwen scratching from New South Wales, car number 18. From Queensland, car number 19, Peter Wright. Bevan Collins in Queensland, 21, Pontiac Firebird. Neville Harper, Tasmania, 22. Dennis Ladesby from New South Wales, car number 23. Robert Gray in West Australia, 24. Brad Scotcher, South Australia, 25, an ex-South Australian champion. From Victoria, Peter Lowe, car number 26. Rossi Brims, New South Wales, 77. Sean Mortimer in New South Wales, 28. Steve Manning, the Ford Falcon from Queensland, car number 29, along with Johnny McGeorge, also an EV Falcon, in car number 98. Johnny Pine, New South Wales. Tell you what, a host of titles behind the name John Pine. In car number 32, Chris Albert in Queensland, 77 of Ian Commodore. Greg Hodges, New South Wales, car number 34 of EP Commodore. South Australia, 35, Stephen Miller. Wayne Randall, as this boy got a big right foot out here on a Speedway night. From Ian Bochner Motors, car number 36. Shane Polger in Queensland, 37. Alan Butcher, a Camaro, car number 83. From Victoria, Bruce Tate, car number 39. Barry Lee in New South Wales, 41. Nathan Wilson, New South Wales, 42. From Tasmania, Phil Townsend, car number 43. Johnny Leslie, an EV Falcon, car number 81. South Australia, 95. Sean Middleton, along with John Rodder. From Victoria, car number 46. Tanya Peacock, there's the pressure on the shoulders of Tanya Peacock, our lone lady driver, during this 93-94 Australian Super Sedan Car Championship. Cole Kemp from Queensland, car number 48. Larry Nelson from Bundaberg, Queensland, 49. Collie Bryant, New South Wales, 33. West Australia, 52. Ben Ludlow, along with Bert Vosbergen in West Australia, 4. Stu Robinson, New South Wales, 54. Noel Reichstein, Northern Territory, 1. Darryl Stagg, an important driver change out there in the Paul O'Neill racer from Lismore, having purchased a motor car over the last couple of days by all reports. Brian Misson in Queensland, 7. South Australia, 58. Steve Stewart. Rod Precise driving Queensland, 9. Des Corner scratching in Queensland, 61. Tony Giancola, that beautifully turned out racer of Ian Commodore from West Australia, car number 143. And Peter Ayler from Tasmania in car 63. Archerfield International Speedway, the track like a billiard table. This one should be a blinder. Watch for the start as they come out of the top turn for the first time. Do we see a green this time? Yes, green flag waved and we're racing. As they approach turn 1 and 2, Noel Reichstein and Ross Brims. Brims round the outside of Reichstein, a nice passing move. As they come out of the Courier Mail, turn number 2 and work the back straight for the first time. Rossi Brims. He's got this car settled into a nice line out of the Cannon Copiers turn for the first time. Rossi Brims in second placing. Noel Reichstein down the main straight. And looking at third, the Victorian. Rig number 35, car number 6 of Stephen Miller on turn 1 and 2. Centimetres separating 3-4 cars as they come out of the 3-4 turns down the main straight while it's all going on further back in the pack. The Queenslander Rossi Brims virtually powering away. Car number 6, roof number 35, the Stephen Miller car from South Australia. Now being challenged, he goes up the back straight away. The South Australian boys doing it in great style. The yellow racer from Peter Ayler trying to get up level 2 from these 4 contenders down the main straight. Just have a look at the charge from West Australia 4. This boy in devastating style, Bert Vosbergen. Have a look at the charge of Bert Vosbergen. He's virtually come from rear of field and about to challenge on the inside. Is this one hell of a race down the main straight away? And Bert Vosbergen, the pickle and glass boxer racer from West Australia, into third. South Australia running in third placing, going up the back straight away, but the further the race goes, the further he explodes away down the main straight away. Bert Vosbergen, the first yellow light, or yellow flag being shown. 2 cars coming to grief between turns 1 and 2. Neville Harper carrying door number 1. Ready for the green lights to be turned on trackside. The West Australia, he takes up like a rocket as they come out of the top turn side by side. Down the main straight away, Neville Harper and Ross Brims. 2 cars almost coming to grief outside turn number 2. These first 4 cars. I must say, Bert Boss Bergen is here looking super good during tomorrow night's 35-lap Australian Super Sedan Car Championship out here at the Astrodome. Neville Harper and Steve Stewart side by side on turns 1 and 2. They throw these cars sprint cars style as they work the back straight away. Away goes Bert Boss Bergen. I would say he's first got this race at his mercy coming out of the top turns. Side by side action is Neville Harper, certainly putting in the big ones down the main straight. Steve Stewart from South Australia running in second, Neville Harper in third, and back into fourth placing Ross Springs from northern New South Wales, car number 77. But the further the race goes, the further he powers ahead coming out of the top turns. This West Australian is certainly in a big hurry, Bert Boss Bergen. Steve Stewart. Neville Harper back into fourth placing Ross Brims, and the Victorian car number 6 bringing up the first 5 placings. No change down the main straight away, already lapping one of the slower cars out. Super good. In the pickle and glass car from West Australia, a bit of smoke coming out of the racer as he roars out of the top 10. In second placing. Back into third, Neville Harper from Tasmania, Rossi Brims, car number 77. And the South Australia, Stephen Miller. There's virtually cars right round the Speedway circuit during the opening heat over 12 laps. But Bert Boss Bergen is in a big hurry down there on the 1-2 turns. Steve Stewart from South Australia in a handy second placing. And back into third, Neville Harper, the Tasmanian Devil, driving car number 1, going up the back straight. Ross Brim still sitting in the fourth placing, picking up these very important points during our first heat over 12 laps. 1 lap to go, but it's virtually all over, bar the shouting. The further the race goes, the further it disappears into the distance, going past our Valmian and Coke Timer. The man in a big hurry during heat number 1. Speedway fans, get your hands ready for him down the main straight. The checkered flag waved. Bert Boss Bergen from West Australia, car number 4 first. Second placing would go to Steve Stewart from South Australia, and Tasmania 1, Neville Harper in for third before we give out official placings during heat number 1, and also the entire 15 laps during tonight's championship race. We'll confirm with our lap scorers up here in our race headquarters. Greg Hodges, Victoria 39, Bruce Tate, Tony Giancola from West Australia, door number 143. Dennis Ladesby from Canada, roof number 2, car number 2. Green lights turned on as we pick up the action during heat number 2. And Johnny Leslight, the Ford Falcon, about to be challenged by Keith Ruback as they come out of turns 1 and 2 for the first time. It's a pop charge going up the back straight away. Johnny Leslight and Keith Ruback running the 1-2 very strongly indeed. There's room on the inside as door number 6 about to charge through down the lane straight away. And there's many chances. They flash past our Valmian and Coke Timer down the main straight away. Johnny Leslight. Greg Hodges from New South Wales. Tell you what, Greg Hodges certainly putting up the race of a lifetime, and a big job ahead for the Rotary Mazda, both the Victorian and the Queenslander. Peter Reeves in car number 37. And Wayne Randall coming in, watch the latest, but Johnny Leslight puts on a Catch Me If You Can drive down the main straight. Greg Hodges in second, Keith Ruback in third placing, door number 9, just flashing across the start-finish line. Bruce Tate from Victoria driving the yellow racer going up the back straight away. And a big charge also from Roy Granger, Phil Townsend, and Robert Gray, but Johnny Leslight, the man to beat during heat number 2. Greg Hodges, Keith Ruback, a passing move. Robert Gray from West Australia is coming onto the scene like a rocket. In West Australia, 24 now picks up the 4th placing going past our Valmian and Cape Timer. But round the outside, there's horsepower to burn. Robert Gray and the yellow racer is trying to pick up his roof number down the main straight. Bruce Tate from Victoria. It's door handle to door handle between the West Australian and the Victorian. Further back in the pack, the race leader, Johnny Leslight. He's like a train on rails down the main straight. The Noel Graham Farm Machinery racer still in second placing. The boy from New South Wales, Greg Hodges. And he's about to challenge John Leslight. He's coming to grief. The 1-2 combination. Oh, looks like Keith Ruback in car number 6. Sliding into the Greg Hodges racer. That would have been a battle royal tonight and again tomorrow night. from Queensland newspapers. Our Courier Mail on sale tonight, plus the Sunday Telly and Sunday Mail tomorrow night. We're racing 6 laps remaining during event number 6. Heat number 2, Johnny Leslight picks up very left off. I tell you, oh, red lights once again being displayed trackside. Looks like the boy from Tasmania. Electing to keep on running, car number 43. Apparently saying, well, look, 1 or 2 points are better than no points. They all count. Green lights once again down the main straight. Johnny Leslight slotting into second placing, the boy from New South Wales, and back into third, Keith Ruback. Oh, still dramas on the top turn. Looks like the Giancola car from West Australia. I'll try and confirm that statement. Looks like Tony Giancola up there in car 143. Okay, we're racing down the main straight away. A 2-car war on turns 1 and 2. Johnny Leslight in second placing, the boy from New South Wales, car number 6. Daryl Hodgson going up the back straight away. Keith Ruback in car number 6 to West Australia. Robbie Gray in fourth placing. Peter Reeves, a sheet of flame. Oh, Peter Reeves straight up the rear of the Robert Gray racer outside the Cannon Copyist turn. I'm just wondering how much damage. Well, I'm darned if I can understand Robbie Gray from West Australia being sent rear of field. And a top go. I certainly can't understand Robert Gray from West Australia being sent rear of field. Okay, I'm only the commentator, not the chief steward, as we see the 2 drivers having a great battle coming out of the top turns down the main straight. There's room on the inside. Daryl Hodges. Oh, a beautiful passing move. Daryl Hodges driving New South Wales, car number 6. He's on the big charge going up the back straight away. Daryl Hodges still in second placing. Johnny Leslight, can he fight back in the EB Ford Falcon? Very wide coming out of the 3-4 turns. Down the main straight away in the 2. Holden Falcon having a great battle. Keith Ruback in third placing from West Australia. Tony Giancola, more red lights being switched on trackside. Green lights turned on. Hopefully this time round we'll find first, second and third. Daryl Hodges driving like a true veteran, showing the fastest way coming out of the 1-2. Oh, Johnny Leslight. He's back on the pace, a passing move on a top goes side by side. Nose to tail, bumper to bumper coming out of the top turn. There's room on the inside for the boy from Newcastle Motordrome, Daryl Hodges. Johnny Leslight's got it all hooked together on the 1-2 turns as Hodges tries to fight back in car number 6, a big gap. To Queensland 6 of Keith Ruback in fourth placing. From West Australia, Tony Giancola going up the back straight. And Victoria 37 of Peter Reeves, but the action up front is Johnny Leslight this time round sets out what could be a winning break. In the EB Ford Falcon from Noel Graham Farm Machine with a sheet of flame. Absolutely belching out of the Peter Reeves Victorian Rotary Mazda, car number 37. A lap car as they make their way down the main straight. We should see our white flag coming out very shortly. The 2 Rotary Mazdas, the Victorian and the Queenslander, having no joy during heat number 2. Daryl Hodges starting to fall back as they head up the back straight away. But Johnny Leslight, the further the race goes, the further he powers away down the main straight. 1 lap to go. And Johnny Leslight looking super good in New South Wales, car number 81. Daryl Hodges, the New South Wales 1-2 during heat number 2. Across the strike, the checker waved. The victor, car number 81, Johnny Leslight from Lismore, New South Wales in second placing. Greg Hodges driving New South Wales 6, and back to third, the Queenslander in Keith Ruback. Well, plenty of incidents unfolding during event number 6, heat number 2. On your special Friday night's qualifying show for the Australian Super Sedan Car Championship. And Alan Butcher, the big job ahead for Alan Butcher as we see them down the main straight during heat number 3. The Chevy at top charge coming out of turns 1 and 2. Ian Marshall anticipating the start beautifully. Dials him into second placing going up the back straight. But Lindsay Hawkins putting on a Catch Me If You Can drive. And there's plenty of charges going from rear of field. Alan Butcher in car number 83. Lindsay Hawkins, Johnny Pine. What a beautiful inside passing move. The 2 Holden Commodores side by side as they power out of turn number 2. Work the back straight. Queensland, New South Wales and Queensland. The 1-2-3 combination, the multicoloured train of racers. Down the main straight in fourth placing, Nick Girdlestone, car number 7, Collie Bryant. The boy from New South Wales, the car looking superb trackside. Nathan Wilson from K-Bar, a beautifully turned out Holden Commodore going up the back straight. Alan Butcher, he's on the move, he's on the march in a big, big way. In about 6th, 7th placing coming down the main straight. As Johnny Pine also disposing of Lindsay Hawkins coming out of the 1-2 turns. Sean Mortimer and Rod Precise bringing up the rear during heat number 3. Johnny Pine, the beautiful pit crew Commodore from New South Wales. Lindsay Hawkins doing it in great style if you can hold the Ian Marshall car back into 3rd placing. He's certainly putting on the race of a lifetime. Lindsay Hawkins going up the back straight and 4th placing. Oh, Ian Marshall very crossed up. Coming out of the top turn, obviously looking for a passing move on Lindsay Hawkins down the main straight, and the EV Ford Falcon of Nick Girdlestone. This is where the interest and the action is centred, between 2nd, 3rd and 4th placings. As Johnny Pine going for a very, very easy drive during heat number 3. Lindsay Hawkins, Ian Marshall. Collie Bryant's further back in the pack. Craig Boss Bergen from West Australia in the number 8 racer. We should see a couple of cars being lapped very, very shortly. Rod Precise from Queensland, car number 9. Lindsay Hawkins, he's defying these 2 top challengers in a big, big way. Ian Marshall in 3rd. Nick Girdlestone trying to work through the traffic. Lindsay Hawkins not leaving the pole line for one moment down the main straight. Ian Marshall trying for an inside line coming out of turns 1 and 2. Oh, there's room on the inside to Ford Falcon. Almost sure on the inside of Ian Marshall coming out of turn number 2. Johnny Pine, without doubt, one of the best known super sedan car drivers the length and breadth of Australia, and he's putting on the race of a lifetime, almost a quarter of a lap, half a lap ahead. The first Hello 2 cars having an altercation down there on turns 1 and 2. The Queenslander, American Truck Spares in car number 83, Alan Butcher involved. John Pine, the wave of the green down the main straight. Lindsay Hawkins, Ian Marshall. Nick Girdlestone in 4th placing coming out of the 1-2 turns. A fair gap to Craig Vosbergen from West Australia. That's virtually a traffic jam further back in the pack. 5 cars vying for the 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th placings going up the back straight. Can we see a passing move between the Holden Commodore and the Ford Falcon coming out of turn number 2? Nick Girdlestone, the big mover driving for Murray's Race Parts in car number 7, but Johnny Pine, he knows what it's all about and shows his driving expertise down the main straight. Oh, Ian Marshall and Nick Girdlestone, are they having a battle royal to the side, 3rd and 4th placing during heat number 3. But Speedway fans, get those hands ready. It's all Johnny Pine, the number 1 racer from New South Wales, the winner of heat number 3. In for 2nd, Queensland 14, Lindsay Hawkins. And back to 3rd from Keith Mackay's Tyres, Queensland 2, Ian Marshall. The 3-lap time on the Valvoline and Cape timer at 47.68. It's 19:43. Do we see a start this time? Can we see a Queenslander? They're looking good. The first 2 rows coming out of the top turns. The green's on. Down the main straight and rear row. Johnny McGeorge, he puts the pedal to the metal. In the EV Ford Falcon, he's certainly wanting to prove he's the man to beat and hopefully pick up the checker. Round about 9:30, 10 o'clock tomorrow night out here at Archerfield International Speedway, side by side. Shane Polger. Oh, mudguard to mudguard down the main straight. Johnny Sheehan and Shane Polger. Polger almost bring himself undone coming out of turn number 2. Has this car got some grunt on the back straight away? Side by side action through the 3-4 turns down the main straight. Johnny McGeorge, Shane Polger, John Sheehan, Paul Geary, John Rodder, the first Victorian, the first visiting driver in 5th placing as they power out of turn number 2. But have a look at Johnny McGeorge. He's pulled out the all-stop sign down the main straight. Johnny McGeorge, can he equal or better this 12-lap track record currently held 3 minutes 19:43 to the credit of Peter Clough. It's a big, big drive going up the back straight away. Shane Polger and John Sheehan certainly having a battle royal for the 2nd and 3rd placings. The Victorian Johnny Rodder trying to power around the outside coming out of the Cannon Copier's turn. John Rodder firstly disposing of Paul Geary, caliber 9. Oh, Shane Bolger, does he get very untidy? Down there on turn number 2, John Rodder almost splitting cars going up the back straight. I'd say forget about Johnny McGeorge in caliber 98. It's virtually all over, bar the shouting. The further the race goes, we've got a virtual traffic jam further back in the pack. Shane Bolger. Paul Geary round the outside. John Rodder is starting to drop back through the pack in Victoria 46. Many passing moves in the top turn. Just have a look at the panel damage on the Queenslander John Sheehan's car down the main straight. Alan Baker. Oh, what a big move from Alan Baker, the boy from Gunnedah in New South Wales. He's now sitting in third placing, going up the back straight, but that's all. Johnny McGeorge. John McGeorge, can we see this 12-lap time being broken during heat number 4? Shane Bolger in second placing. Third spot, Alan Baker. Anyone's guess for 4th, 5th and 6th, Paul Geary, John Rodder. Sean Middleton from South Australia, car number 95. Johnny McGeorge on the tail of the lap cars coming out of the top turns. Some brilliant drives here on our Speedway 9 from John McGeorge, but I can safely say there's none better than what we're seeing out there at the moment. This Falcon has to be one hell of a hope to keep the 93-94 Australian Super Sedan Car Championship right here in Queensland. Johnny McGeorge going up the back straight for the last time in car number 98. Works the top turns, Alan Baker. In second placing, third spot, Shane Bolger, car number 37. But there's the winner. What a win, what a drive. Car number 98, Johnny McGeorge from Queensland first. He'll take the checkered flag in effortless style down the main straight. One hell of a drive. John McGeorge, car number 98 first. A brand new track record to his credit. Just checking second and third placings. Alan Baker from Gunnedah, New South Wales, car number 3 for second. And officially third going to Queensland, 37 of Shane Bolger. Well, water in North Queensland driving car number 6. Do we see a start? Line of 2. Yes, we're racing down the main straight. Oh, one hell of a start from Brad Scotcher from South Australia. The boy looking super good on turns. Oh, around the outside. Have a look at this. Great free Mazda from Victoria in the hands of John Bonner going up. Hello, one car going nowhere down there on turns 1 and 2. As soon as our green lights were turned on, oh, straight into the rear end of Brad Scotcher as they power to the top turns. Neville Eltz, the Ford Capri. This is a very interesting nomination. A very interesting motor car, I should say, the Ford Capri. Green lights this time. Can we run the 12 laps? But no further damage. Ronnie Pine. Oh, a lightning-like start from Ron Pine. Have we got them bunched up coming out of turns 1 and 2 for the first time? Tanya Peacock. She's been bobbed back through the field in car number 47. They pace a cracker as they work the Cannon Copiers team for the first time down the main straight away. And Ronnie Pine is driving like a demon. In the number 3 racer, Ben Ludlow, about to claim second. Oh, Ben Ludlow almost putting himself sideways on outside turn number 2, Peter Drew. Not doing a great deal during last Saturday night Super Sedan car racing, but without doubt a big mover during event number 9 down the main straight. Ronnie Pine in second placing. Ronnie Pine, the South Australian, Brad Scotcher. In second placing, Ben Ludlow. He's still charging forward from West Australia. In third spot, Peter Drew in the fourth placing, coming out of the 1-2 turns in fifth spot. Being held down by Tanya Peacock, the first 4 cars. They've literally waved goodbye to the rest of the field. Ronnie Pine, may I add, not having a great deal of joy during his numerous visits over a Speedway season up here at the Archerfield International Speedway, but absolutely excelling. Ronnie Pine taking a beautiful line coming out of the top turns down the main straight. Brad Scotcher in second placing, third spot. Ben Ludlow, further back Peter Drew, and Tanya Peacock, the first 5 cars during event number 9. The race leader Ronnie Pine letting one of the slower cars going up the back straight. Brad Scotcher. The boy, as I mentioned, got a list of credentials behind the name of Brad Scotcher from South Australia. In a handy second placing, Ben Ludlow. And Peter Drew is coming onto the scene at the rate of knots. That lap car almost bringing the third and fourth place getters undone. Tanya Peacock in fifth placing going up the back straight. The car humming like a singer sewing machine coming out of the top turns, rides the cushion. Maybe the only mistake he's made during these 9 or 10 laps being reeled off. During this 12 lap event number 9, heat number 5, the lap car side by side with Brad Scotcher. He uses the lap car as a buffer as he slides out of the 1-2 turns back into third placing. The Sandgraver from West Australia, Ben Ludlow, and from South Australia, Peter Drew in car number 8. Not many passing moves, just hard, fast racing. Peter Wright from Cairns not doing a great deal coming out of turn number 2. Also a long way to travel for the official ASCF 94 Australian Championship. 1 lap to go on Ronnie Pine. He can ease the big right foot in this number 3 racer from Newcastle Motordrome. He puts in a blinder down the main straight away. New South Wales, car number 3 first, Ronnie Pine. Second placing going to South Australia, car number 50, Brad Scotcher. And back into third from WA. One of the most talked about drivers coming out of West Australia, Ben Ludlow in car 1. The time, 3 minutes 15.09. The time, 3 minutes 15.09. Your winner, Speedway fans from New South Wales. A big round of applause for him, Ronnie Pine. Put your hands together trackside. In the way of Bevan Collins. Unfortunately, 3 drivers missing during event number 13, but still a star-studded field coming out of the top turns. They're bunched up tight, green lights turned on. This one should be a beauty down the main. The Northern Territory champion vying for the race lead coming out of the 1-2 turns for the first time. It's hectic speedway action. Almost 3 wide as they work the back straight away. Shane Polger in the Queensland 37 car in third placing. It's almost a traffic jam with the Cannon Copiers turn during lap number 1. Cars down in the infield back onto the speedway circuit. The Victorian with a great move. Car number 15 leading nicely coming out of turn number 2 going up the back straight away. Ronnie Dalton driving Victoria 15. Shane Polger in the second placing. Round the outside, Neville Harper, he said there's no room further back on the pack, there's no room on the inside. There's only one way to go, round the outside, trying for the outside one on Noel Reichstein. It's side-by-side action, Queensland Victoria. Going up the back straight away, the inside, Shane Polcher, car number 37, the outside, the Victorian. Ronnie Dalton down the main straight, and just have a look at Neville Harper. Has Neville Harper put in the big ones? He's got this Tasmania 1 racer. Virtually jumping out of the ground, coming out of turn number 2. It's a 2-car war on the back straight, I must say. Shane Polger. Not a lot of heard of the boy here down here at Archerfield on the Speedway night, but he's doing it in superb style during tonight's ASCF Championship. Shane Polger, Neville Harper, Ronnie Dalton in third placing coming out of the turns. Steve Manning, well and truly outclassed in the Ford Falcon, car number 29 down there on turns 1 and 2. Greg Hodges sitting in a comfortable 4th placing, trying for an inside run. On Ronnie Dalton. Dalton closing the door nicely as he comes out of turn number 2. Try as he may down the main straight, Shane Polger still holding that 4 or 5 car length advantage. On Neville Harper, a cutthroat dice for 3rd and 4th placing, Greg Hodges. Finding an inside one on the Victorian, also through on the inside from New South Wales. Paddy Ward from Orange. Shane Polger certainly putting in the big ones down the main straight away. Neville Harper. Greg Hodges, the 24 racer. What a superbly turned out race car. He's in 4th placing going up the back straight. The laps rapidly running out during event number 13, heat number 6. Shane Polger, Neville Harper. Greg Hodges, Paddy Ward down the main straight. These first 4 cars have certainly powered away from Ronnie Dalton, the Victorian, car number 15. Ronnie Dalton going like a bullet during the opening laps. I'd say there's something certainly going to miss with the racer. But Shane Powell should be talking about this drive for quite some time. I beat the best from right round Australia, the boy from Gympie. In car number 37, Shane Polger. Paws on the power coming out of the 3-4 turns for the last time. Shane Polger, Neville Harper, Greg Hodges in third placing, back into fourth. Paddy Ward, car number 24, can we see a passing move during the last half lap between Neville Harper and Greg Hodges, but Shane Polger, without doubt, he's put in the drive of a lifetime down the main straight. Reached the checkered flag, and the winner, Queensland 37, Shane Polger first. For second, the Tasmania 1, Neville Harper, and back to third, Greg Hodges in New South Wales 6. Speedway fans, a fine drive from the Queenslander. How about you show your appreciation? Put your hands together for him, Queensland 37, Shane Polger. Let's hear it for him, folks. Steinearth moving. Alan Baker going up the back straight. Keith Ruback from Ruback Bobcats, car number 6. Do we see a start this time? Green flag, green lights down the main straight away. All side-by-side action. Sheehan straight into the side of the Alan Baker racer from New South Wales. Are they in a big hurry coming out of turn number 2? Work the back straight away. And the West Australian boy, Keith Ruback. He's looped the racer in a big way up there on turn number 3. Keith Ruback lining up in row number 2, ready for the restart. Car number 4 being sent rear of field. The green lights turned on this time. This could be a hectic 12 laps. Oh, a brilliant start from Alan Baker, outpowering the pole man in the way of Bert Vosbergen. It's the pacer cracker as they come out of turns 1 and 2. Work the back straight away. Oh, Keith Ruback, the big mover, and Keith Ruback. He's almost overdone things once again, coming out of the 3-4 turns. Down the main straight away, side-by-side action. Have a look at the dice, the second and third. John Sheehan, has it all gone wrong for the Queenslander? In car number 4, the race leader, the big mover. During event number 14, he's in full flight coming out of the top 10. Oh, Johnny Sheehan sounding like a fireworks display. Alan Baker, the 52 roof number racer in second placing. Bert Vosbergen, one of the sandgrapers from West Australia. He means business going up the back straight. A tap on the tail. Is this first class Super Sedan car racing down the main straight? Alan Baker. And Ben Ludlow in second placing. Back into third placing, Tony G and Cole are the 2 West Australian boys. I'd say this is the class act of the night as they come out of the top turn. Centimetres separating the 1-2 combination. Alan Baker, Ben Ludlow. The charge of the lifetime. Third and fourth, tight between Keith Ruback now in a handy third placing going up the back straight. The pole man in the way of Bert Vosbergen back into third, fourth placing down the main straight. But what a battle. Ben Ludlow, Alan Baker, 2 of the greatest in Super Sedan car racing, the Victorian. Quite a fair way back in the field. Bruce Tate driving roof number 39, side-by-side contact coming out of the top turns. Alan Baker, Ben Ludlow, there's room on the inside. And the West Australian, can he outpower Alan Baker? Going up the back straight away. Are they having one ding-dong battle royal up front? That's what Ben Ludlow's looking for. Alan Baker to go offline there on the top turn. Keith Ruback. He's made up a lot of ground. He's in third placing, breathing fire and brimstone. Further back to the pole man, Bert Vosbergen. And now the number 4 charger, Craig Vosbergen. Oh. About to lap one of the slower cars down the main straight. Ben Ludlow, Alan Baker, who's got the most horsepower going past the Belgian and Cape Timer, Alan Baker. And this Steinearth moving racer. Ben Ludlow, he's trying every trick in the book. He's trying the inside line, he's trying the high line. He's covering his ground beautifully, the boy from Canada. In New South Wales, Alan Baker, no stranger to the Super Sedan car scene. Here's room on the inside this time. That's where the horsepower well and truly comes into play down the main straight. Also on the back straight away, and that's where Alan Baker, the long legs of this race, are certainly getting away. A frustrating drive for Ben Ludlow in second place. He said, all I want is 3 or 4 more horsepower down the main straight. Keith Ruback still in third placing, back into fourth placing. Craig Vosbergen driving West Australia forward. Alan Baker hang in. The 3-4 turns left to go. Ludlow having one last lunge as they come out of the top turns down the main straight. And the winner from New South Wales, Alan Baker, car number 3 first. For second, going to Ben Ludlow from West Australia, route number 52. And officially third, the Queenslander in car 6. Wow. Brand new 20-lap record in Super Sedan car action. Okay, ready to go racing down the main straight. Robbie Gray, Paul Granger, round the outside, the Victorian 46 as they pick up the pace coming out of turn number 2. Johnny Rodder is in third place round the outside. Have a look at the boy from South Australia. We got one hell of a race on our hands coming out of the top turn. Ian Marshall, he's desperate to pick up major points. Robbie Gray, Roy Granger. The Tasmanian in car number 43, no points due to a flat tyre. During heat number 1, Phil Townsend. He's in the 4th place and going up the back straight away ahead of Ian Marshall. Oh, Ian Marshall almost sideways on, coming out of the top turns onto the infield. Back onto the Speedway circuit, round the outside, the Victorian Darryl Stagg. Got into Paul O'Neill race. Oh, have a look at Stagg. Has this car got some grunt going up the back straight away? And the same words can be said for our race leader down the main straight. Robbie Gray, oh, a 3-car pile-up on the top turn. Have we got some bad luck during tonight's Super Sedan Car Championship for the Queenslander? The Rotary Master driver in the way of Wayne Randall. Oh, a contact up there on the top turn between Peter Drew from South Australia and Brad Scotcher in car number 50 down the main straight away. This car will certainly breed a handful, good as he may be. They just don't go around on 3 legs. Ian Marshall, Keith Mackay's tyre racer, but up front, and he's setting a sizzler down the main straight away during our 6th lap. Robert Gray from West Australia in 2nd placing. Roy Granger, car number 10, the Victorian. Johnny Hodder in the 3rd spot as they roar past the Valmian and Coke timer side by side between Brad Scotcher. Darryl Stagg, the Tasmanian. Phil Townsend coming out of the top turns. 3 cars, they're virtually glued to the Speedway circuit like a train to rails. Can we see a passing move from the Queensland driver, and then 2nd placing Roy Granger in car number 10. They're lapping the car on 3 wheels of Ian Marshall coming out of the top turns. Neil Townsend, Brad Scotcher, Darryl Stagg. Have a look at Darryl Stagg as this car got some grunt. Round the outside in 4th placing. Was that a big move from Darryl Stagg, the Victorian? As they come down the main straight away, Robert Gray. Rear panels flapping in the breeze on the Roy Granger car going up the back straight. Robert Gray, a lot of folks have said prior to tonight's Australian Championship, if it's not going to be a Queenslander, Robert Gray without doubt. One big chance from WA, Roy Granger puts the brakes on in 2nd placing. Johnny Rodder from Victoria, the big mover in car number 46 as they come down the main straight. Ian Marshall keeping out of harm's way in the Keith Mackay's tyre service Commodore. Darryl Stagg from Victoria driving car number 5 as they roar up the back straight. Roy Granger trying every trick he knows to try to get the inside of the outside run. Oh, Robert Gray, what's gone wrong down there on turn number 2? The West Australian car virtually slowing to walk, and Robert Gray fight back in this 24 racer coming out of the top turn. There's room on the inside as Robert Gray got the horsepower down the main straight. Robert Gray and Johnny Rodder. The Queenslander now takes the race lead and takes it easily going up the back straight. Oh, Darryl Stagg. Darryl Stagg from Victoria, looping car number 8. The left-hand side of our race headquarters. Racing rule books, the interval break only. So if you miss out then, don't forget, of course, you can also come tomorrow night. We're racing. Back in the lead position, showing the fastest way around the Archerfield Speedway Bowl. The West Australian driver in the way of Robert Gray, but here comes the Queenslander, Roy Granger. Almost sure on the inside there, making that top turn so wide. Roy Granger and Robert Gray down the main straight. Johnny Rodder. Oh, a superb little drive from Johnny Rodder, the Victorian. In car number 46, these last 2 remaining laps, that we got one hell of a dice in our hands. Robert Gray's being punted all over the Speedway circuit, going up the back straight. Johnny Rodder, the Victorian in car number 46. What a go coming out of the top turns. Oh, the wheel off the Darryl Stagg car between turns 3 and 4. Ah, Graham Tabin, our journalist from the Courier Mail, is virtually shaking his head up here in our race headquarters. He said, is that dynamic racing? Got your fuels in third. Peter Drew, South Australia. Green lights this time down the main straight. Those three cars with flat tyres, virtually fine to see who's going to fill last position. Johnny Rodder doing it superbly down the main straight on three legs. Ian Marshall is passing of Robert Graham, West Australia 24. The hard luck stories just keep on coming as these heats emerge here during our Friday night qualifying session. Down the main straight, Roy Granger, Neil Townsend in second placing, Peter Drew. As I mentioned earlier on, not a great deal seen from Peter Drew last Saturday night, but man, he's on the loud pedal in a big way during tonight's qualifiers. Have a look at this battle. You can throw a pocket handkerchief over three cars coming out of the top turns. The checkered flag waved, and Roy Granger takes the win. Queensland 10 first. Tasmania second. Second. Certainly no shadow of doubt. We're still confirming here regarding second and third placings, but Speedway fans get right behind the Queensland boy. Let's hear it for him, Roy Granger. Put your hands together trackside. The Queensland car number 10, Roy Granger. Nathan Wilson from Cobar, New South Wales 42. Johnny McGeorge from Shell Oils, Queensland, car number 98. South Australia 5, Steve Stewart, Stu Robertson, Peter Reeve, Mick Girdlestone, Peter Ayler, Johnny Lesline and Sean Mortimer. Throw in Alan Butcher. There's plenty of drama. It's side-by-side action. Panel bending time between turns 1 and 2. One motor car sitting on the side of the Speedway circuit, motionless. Oh, is this a firecracker coming out of the top turns? The V8 powered Ford Capri, Peter Reeves, from Victoria. The Rotary Master, a beautifully turned out car and crew, the Peter Reeves combination. Do we see a start? Complete restart. Event number 17 down the main straight. The 42 racer taking off like a bullet on turns 1 and 2. This boy going superbly as he works the back straight away. In second place in the Red Devils, Radiators from Queensland, Johnny McGeorge. In car number 88 down the main straight away, the Charge the Light Brigade. Nathan Wilson from Cobar. In Western New South Wales, his first look at the Archerfield International Speedway circuit, and Nathan Wilson. Is this boy absolutely scorching the clay coming out of the top turns? Nathan Wilson and a Holden Commodore down the main straight. McGeorge in second placing, third spot. Paul Geary without doubt putting on the race of a lifetime. Nick Girdlestone, the Ford Falcon. Peter Reeves and Victoria. The Rotary Mazda going up the back straight away with the first 5 place getters, nose to tail. Steve Stewart now taking over third placing as they come out of turn number 2. Work the back straight away. The race leader, can we see one of the virtual unknown drivers? Picking up a heat in the way of Nathan Wilson, car number 42 of Johnny McGeorge. Is there room on the McGeorge jumping on the brake pedal coming out of turn number 2. Nathan Wilson shutting the gate nicely. Holden Commodore versus Ford Falcon down the main straight. Nathan Wilson, Johnny McGeorge back into third placing. From South Australia, Steve Stewart driving South Australia 1. Paul Geary in fourth placing. The 5th spot going up the back straight away to Nick Girdlestone. Oh, Paul Geary. He's looped the Holden Commodore between turns 3 and 4. Are we seeing absolutely cutthroat racing during tonight's 15 heats in preparation for tomorrow night's 35 laps starting rear of field in the Ford Falcon for Murray's Race Parts. Green lights turned on, the field pours out of the top turn, and Nathan Wilson proving the man to beat in car number 42. Almost sure on the inside, Johnny McGeorge in car number 98. The Charge the Light Brigade as they work the back straight away. Nathan Wilson, John McGeorge, a frustrating drive for Johnny McGeorge in second placing. He's trying every trick in the book to get an inside or an outside run. On the Nathan Wilson car going up the back straight. John McGeorge, Steve Stewart from South Australia sitting in the third spot down the main straight. Paul Geary, Johnny Lesline, Alan Butcher. Stu Robinson a long way back in the Ford Falcon, car number 54. And Neville Elson Victoria, the Ford Capri, car number 5. The 1-2 combination is certainly getting away from the third place driver coming out of the turns. The Dry Creek Wreckers car from South Australia, Steve Stewart. in car number 1. There's room on the inside as the race leader getting tired as they come down the main straight. Nathan Wilson, Johnny McGeorge, that's the opportunity John McGeorge was hoping for. Can Nathan Wilson fight back? From New South Wales in car number 42, the car's got plenty of horsepower. They're matching fiberglass. Johnny McGeorge, Nathan Wilson. Steve Stewart, John Leslie, Alan Butcher. One lap to go, 2 starts, 2 wins, I would say, on maximum points. Johnny McGeorge driving car number 98. Back in a second placing, what a valiant bid for victory. Nathan Wilson in New South Wales 42. The checker out and the winner, Queensland 98, John McGeorge first. New South Wales 42, Nathan Wilson second. And officially going to the boy from Northern New South Wales, John Leslie, in car 81. Well, Speedway fans, 2 starts, 2 wins. How about you give it to him, Johnny McGeorge? Give you a big round of applause, folks. Okay, we're racing during event number 17, and the pacer cracker as I come out of turns 1 and 2 for the first time. The race leader in full flight going up the back straight away. Johnny Pine, he wants to make it 2 starts, 2 wins. Ronnie Pine sitting in second placing. The 2 Pine brothers having a battle royal down the main straight. Can Ronnie Pine, John Pine. Oh, Ronnie Pine almost putting John Pine right around outside turn number 2. The 2 Newcastle superstars at hammer and tongs down the main straight. Johnny Pine, Ron Pine, third placing our lady driver, Tanya Peacock, car number 47. And there's plenty of sideways on action. Further back in the pack, Colleen Bryant bringing up the rear along with Cole Kent from North Queensland. Ron Pine having horsepower to burn in car number 3, Johnny Pine. He's on the loud pedals. They work the 1-2 turns. The back straight away during the last segment of heats. Oh, Ron Pine round the outside of Johnny Pine, who's got the most horsepower down the main straight. There's power to burn in this number 3 racer from Newcastle Metadrome, John Pine, Rod Pine, putting on a blinder coming out of the top turns. Lindsay Hawkins, Tanya Peacock. The race being run in 2 separate divisions, first and second down the main straight. And third and fourth between Tanya Peacock, car number 47. And the McDwyer fan club would certainly be working overtime down there trackside. The lap car making it quite difficult down there on turns 1 and 2. Firstly, for the third place, Lindsay Hawkins in car number 14. And in turn, Tanya Peacock going up the back straight. Johnny Pine, Ron Pine back into third placing. Lindsay Hawkins, car number 14, Tanya Peacock in the 47 race in fourth spot going up the back straight. These lap cars could make things very interesting indeed coming out of the top turns of both the 1-2-3 combination. Lindsay Hawkins now throwing out the challenge. Oh, the lap cars causing chaos down there on turn number 2. Larry Nelson running midfield, likewise Collie Bright in car number 33. There's room on the inside coming out of turn number 2. Johnny Pine just waiting his opportunity behind the lap car down the main straight. John Pine, Ron Pine in second. Lindsay Hawkins, car number 14, running strongly in third. And Tanya Peacock, car number 47, bringing up the first 4 cars. The checker this time down the main straight. And the winner, New South Wales, car number 1, John Pine first. For second, Brother Ron in car number 3. And officially third going to Lindsay Hawkins in car number 14. Are we lowering that fifth at 12 lap time? 3 minutes 13.30. I will stand contradiction, but I would say the fastest time during tonight's first segment of heats. 3 minutes 13. Yes, the fastest time. How about a big round of applause for John Pine? New South Wales won first. The fastest time during tonight's qualifying heats, 3 minutes 13.30. Second is Brother Ron in car number 3. And officially third, going to the Queensland 14 racer of Lindsay Hawkins. I mentioned the fastest time during tonight's first segment of heats, 3 minutes 13.30. Your placings, Stu wins. The Queensland boy looking super good in the Shell Oils racer. Queensland 98. Have we got a big field? The Top Guns. And they'll be firing on both barrels as soon as they see a green flag down the main straight. The green lights turned on. Action time. Event number 21, the race leader out of West Australia, doing it nicely. Craig Boss Bergen. Oh, one boy straight to the concrete wall between turns 1 and 2. Okay, down the main straight. We're racing during event number 21. The West Australia driver, Craig Boss Bergen, jumps on the gas pedal in a big way. Neville Harper in hot pursuit. The Tasmanian in second spot, going up the back straight away. Oh, one boy. The Queenslander, Paul Geary, across the Speedway circuit on the back straight. The Red Devils, Holden Commodore. He's going nowhere in this number 9 race through our second red light. And no racing laps completed during event number 21. Gray from West Australia, car number 24. Green lights turned on. Craig Boss Bergen, Neville Harper, Keith Reback, Peter Reeves and Victoria, still that familiar sheet of flame. Coming out of the rear of that rotary Mazda, going up the back straight. One of the nicest turned out cars and crews during tonight's Speedway racing. Peter Reeves on the loud pedal in a big way as he roars out of the cannon, coming his turn. Oh, a passing move, almost a passing move between Neville Harper. Oh, motor cars onto the infield, back onto the Speedway circuit. Robert Gray, as he had a night he'll be talking about for quite some time. I really feel sorry, a long way from West Australia. And Peter Gray, without doubt, the unlucky driver in this 24 racer. Craig Boss Bergen, Neville Harper going up the back straight away. Keith Reback in car number 6. Once again confronted by red lights. Green's on. Can the win go back to West Australia? One of the sandgravers here for this 93-94 Australian Super Sedan Car Championship. He pours on the power coming out of turn number 2. Robert Gray finds himself on the infield once again in car number 24. The 1-2-3 combination there, powered away from the Victorian. Peter Reeves down the main straight. Collie Bryant, without doubt, he's putting on a blinder, keeping Johnny McGeorge behind as they work the 1-2 turns up the back straight away. Oh, John McGeorge. He's got this EV Falcon virtually jumping out of the ground. Can he make any impression on this 1-2-3 combination down the main straight? Keith Reback. The wins few and far between for Keith Reback during 93-94, but he's come good with a vengeance. During tonight's qualifying heats, this Reback's racer. He's on the loud pedal, on the pace. Looking for an inside run on Neville Harper, getting it as I speak. Harper now, Reback through into second place, here regulating Neville Harper, the Tasmanian, car number 1. Back into third, going up the back straight. Craig Boss Bergen takes a beautiful line coming out of the top turns. It's fight back time for Neville Harper, driving car number 1 back into fourth placing Johnny McGeorge. He's disposed of the Reeves team Mazda down the main straight. Boss Bergen there, first going to catch the boy from WA and find an inside or an outside pass. He's covering his tracks beautifully. He's making this car twice its own width down there on turn number 2. Craig Boss Bergen, Keith Reback, Neville Harper, Johnny McGeorge is about to join in a big way down the main straight. John McGeorge absolutely excelling during tonight's qualifying heats. Breathing fire and brimstone behind the Neville Harper car, going up the back straight away. Craig Boss Bergen taking a beautiful line coming out of the top turns. The Shell Oils car side by side now disposing of Neville Harper. He's back into fourth placing. Side by side, Peter Reeves. Alan Baker through on the inside of Peter Reeves coming out of turn number 2, but the laps rapidly running down. Great Boss Bergen, can he contain Keith Reback? Virtually the same distance, covering the 1-2, going up the back straight. That familiar sheet of flame still coming out of the Victorian Rotary Master. Great Boss Bergen, is he going to make the long haul from WA? All worthwhile and pick up maximum points. During event number 21, can Keith Reback contain John McGeorge on the back straight away? He throws the car sideways on. He sends his victory down the main straight. The boy from WA, Great Boss Bergen, taking the win. Second placing, the hard-charging Queenslander in the way of Keith Reback second. And back to third, the Queensland 98 Falcon of Johnny McGeorge. But Great Boss Bergen doing it in grand style, the boy from West Australia. The winner, event number 21, in for second, Keith Reback, car number 6, and officially third, the EB Falcon, John McGeorge, in car 98. The winner's time, the Valkyrian and Cape timer, at 2 minutes 41.13. The time, 10 laps, 2 minutes 41.13. Green lights turned on. Action time down the main straightaway, and a brilliant start from car number 1. Oh, drama in front of our race headquarters. Oh, motor cars going every which way but loose. Looks like plenty of panel damage. To Tony G and Colour, the beautifully turned out Coates Hire car from WA. Ben Ludlow round the outside as they come out of the top turns. Hits the race lead. Robert Carrick in second, placing a big move from John Waller in Victorian 46, going up the back straight away. The Victorian cars, all this fiberglass all over the back straight away from the John Rodder, car number 46. Tony G and Kohler, unfortunately, going nowhere down the main straight. And about to join in Larry Nelson from Queensland in car number 49. The best he's gone during our qualifying heats. John Rodder putting in the big ones. Oh, look out, concrete wall. His vision must be well and truly impaired by that fiberglass bonnet on the John Rodder car down the main straight. He's sitting right behind Larry Nelson in car number 49. Nelson off the pole line coming out of turn number 2. There's room on the inside as John Rodder. Got the horsepower going up the back straight. A lightning-like move from Alan Butcher in car number 83. Is accelerating greatly down the main straight away. Ben Ludlow, Robert Carrick, John Rodder. Almost an inside passing move by Larry Nelson, Tony G and Kohler. Just cruising around the concrete wall, wanting to pick up maximum points. Ben Ludlow disappearing into the distance, going down the main straight. Robert Carrick, John Rodder, Alan Butcher. Nathan Wilson moving forward sharply in car number 42. Starting rear field during our third last qualifying heat. Ben Ludlow, Robert Carrick, John Rodder in this yellow racer. Very spectacular driving style coming out of the 1-2 turns. Alan Butcher in hot pursuit as they flash past the Valkyrian and Cape timer. Tony G and Kohler, the points vital. And our last round of qualifying heats during their special Friday night Speedway show at the Archerfield International Raceway. The third the race goes. The third is extending that race lead. Ben Ludlow, the WA racer. Robert Carrick, John Rodder. Alan Butcher, Nathan Wilson, car number 42. Oh, an effortless inside passing move on John Carrick coming out of turn number 2. A driver's side flat tyre for Larry Nelson, car number 49. The laps rapidly running down. Ben Ludlow. John Rodder, Alan Butcher, a beautiful passing move on turn number 4 to the twice national champion driving American truck parts in car number 83 going up the back straight. Peter Aylett on Tasmania also have problems. He goes past the Ben Ludlow, Johnny Rodder, Alan Butcher, Nathan Wilson. And without doubt, one of the biggest margins so far during tonight's qualifying heats. Out of the top turn, the checker being Wade, the winner from WA, Ben Ludlow, West Australia, car number 1 first. Second placing, John Rodder in Victoria, car number 46. And back to third, the Queenslander, car number 83 of Alan Butcher. Well, talk about lose some fiberglass around the Speedway circuit. It all happened during event number 22, our Coca-Cola and Courier Mail. Speedway fans, a big round of applause for him from WA, Ben Ludlow. 9 cars ready to do battle during event number 23, our Coca-Cola Courier Mail. Second last heat on tonight's qualifying session of the Moronite Sedan Car Championship. The Pacer Cracker coming out of the 1-2 turns, and Nick Girdlestone. The Murray's Race Parts EV Ford Falcon showing the fastest way around the Archerfield Speedway circuit. Both the 1-2 drivers desperate to pick up big points. Not many points on the board for Nick Girdlestone. Likewise, a driver in second placing from Newcastle Motordrome, Stu Robinson in the Ford Falcon car number 4. The Fords dominating during our second last heat, running in 1-2 coming out of the top turns. Brad Scotcher, Tanya Peacock, nose to tail further back in the pack. 2 Queenslanders, 1 New South Wales Welshman. Nick Girdlestone doing it in great fashion down the main straightaway. Stu Robinson and Lindsay Hawkins having a battle royal. Also a battle further back in the pack between Tanya Peacock, car number 47, and the South Australian Hot Shoe on the way of Brad Scotcher, car 50. Hello, Steve Manning, I would say, bring on the red lights on the top 10. Okay, green flag wave once more as they head down the main straight. Nick Girdlestone, Stu Robinson coming out of the 1-2 turns, back into third placing Tanya Peacock. Tanya Peacock, a beautiful drive getting around the outside of Lindsay Hawkins. Hawkins fighting back. They're side by side out of the camera. Coming as turn about to join in. From South Australia, Brad Scotcher in car 50. You can almost fill a Speedway magazine with the credentials behind the name Brad Scotcher, driving for Scotcher Fuels, the number 50 racer. But Nick Girdlestone pours on the power down the main straight. He's putting on a catch me if you can drive in this Murray's Race Parts EV Falcon, car number 7, second placing. Running under the protest flag, Lindsay Hawkins, car number 14, Stu Robinson in third, and Tanya Peacock in fifth placing, Brad Scotcher. Are they closing on Nick Girdlestone going across the strike? Oh, Tanya Peacock, Stu Robinson, they're side by side, swapping paint going across the start-finish line. Lindsay Hawkins has he made out the leeway. He's sitting right on the rear bumper waiting for our race leader to make a mistake coming out of the turns. He's got the grit, he's got the horsepower. Down the main straight, Lindsay Hawkins, Nick Girdlestone. A 2-car war coming out of the Courier Mail, turn number 2, the inside, a beautiful passing move. I'd say they wouldn't have touched outside turn number 2. Got the right line, put his foot right in the bucket. A beautiful piece of driving from Lindsay Hawkins to the number 14 racer, Nick Girdlestone. Tanya Peacock, now Brad Scotcher. Also through on the inside going across the start-finish line of Stu Robinson from Newcastle driving car number 4. A handful of laps remaining during event number 23. 5 more qualifying heats during tomorrow night's show. The 35-lap final and Repcharge Racing. The 2 Queenslanders making up a top sight. Our Queenslanders certainly on great terms for themselves out there trackside. Lindsay Hawkins at 3-4 turns left to go down the main straight. And Queensland 14, the boy from North Queensland, taking our second last heat. Queensland 7, Nick Girdlestone for second. And officially third, a superb drive from the lady from Lismore City Speedway, car number 47 of Tanya Peacock. But Speedway fans, have had a big round of applause. Lindsay Hawkins, put your hands together for him. A top drive, the boy from North Queensland. Sean Middleton just taking up his place on the grid, going up the back straight. Here we see a start this time. It's race down the main straightaway event number 24, the last qualifying heat. Oh, Ronnie Pine almost bringing himself undone between turns 1 and 2. Jumps on the loud pedal and pilots the field going up the back straight away. In second placing, the New South Wales cars running 1 and 2. Greg Hodges. In second placing, coming out of the turns, third spot, a lightning-like move on the inside. The number 12 race, I tell you what, the best I've seen him go all night, Paddy Ward. From Dubbo in central New South Wales, the very Ward racer. It's a New South Wales 1, 2, 3, 4 as they work the top turns down the main straight away. Ronnie Pine, Daryl Hodges, third placing, Paddy Ward, car number 24, and the New South Wales champion, John Pine, almost sure on the inside of Ward, coming out of turn number 2. The Victorian, Ronnie Dalton, running in the 5th place, going up the back straight from Sean Mortimer. And Neville Elson, car number 5, there's a little Ford Capri, obviously not suited to these wide open spaces of the Archerfield Speedway circuit. Ronnie Pine, Greg Hodges in second placing now. John Pine, 2 on the inside, coming out of the top turns. And picks up a handy third placing, but I'd say his brother on. He's virtually got a mortgage on this last qualifying heat. In the number 3 racer down the main straight. Greg Hodges running smoothly in the second, going up the back straight. Johnny Pine. A very spread out field coming out of the top turns, virtually the same distance. Covering the first 4 cars going across the strike. The Victorian, the big mover. Ronnie Dalton driving roof number 15. During our last qualifying heat, but Ronnie Pine, the superstar of Speedway racing. He's no stranger to this Archerfield International Speedway circuit. Many visits up here during our Cannon Cup series. The green lights not still twinkling away trackside. 1 car on the concrete wall outside turn number 2. Sean Middleton, I would say. Car number 95, just not noticing the Sean Middleton racer going down the main straight. Okay, back to the action down the main straight. Ronnie Pine, oh, I tell you what, he's in a big, big hurry. Johnny Pine, the brothers, Ron Pine, John Pine. There's room on the inside of Greg Hodges coming out of turn number 2. It's the horsepower stakes on the back straight away there, running side by side as they come out of the top turn. Aided by the inside run, John Pine now in second placing down the main straight. Greg Hodges regulated back into third in New South Wales. Oh, he's put the John Pine racer right around outside turn number 2. What's the steward's decision regarding Greg Hodges, car number 6? Four laps remaining. The Pine boys running in the 1-2, going up the back straight away. Ronnie Pine, John Pine. And the 24 racer now in third placing, coming out of the top turns. Down the main straight, Ronnie Pine, John Pine. Paddy Ward certainly doing extremely well during tonight's racing. No luck down the main straight. The Victorian Ronnie Dalton, car number 15. Try as he may, John Pine Mahee, no impression on the Ron Pine racer. They're on their last lap during the second last qualifying heat for tomorrow night's Australian Championship. Oh, the lap car on the back straight. A very snake-like drive going past the Valvoline and Cape Timer, but he's done it in the best style possible. Down to the checker, and the winner, Ronnie Pine, New South Wales 3 first. Second going to John Pine, New South Wales 1, and back to third, Paddy Ward in New South Wales, roof number 12. I tell you what, the New South Welshman on the march in a big, big way during our second last qualifying heat. Speedway fans, a great drive. How about you show your appreciation? Ronnie Pine, New South Wales, car number 337. John Sheehan in 4. Also draw a line through Shane Polger, Queensland 37. Peter Wright from North Queensland, car number 19. And we're racing down the main straight. This one should be a firecracker. Ian Marshall intent to pick up maximum points during our last qualifying heat. The 1-2-3 combination, nose to tail. Oh, a lightning-like move from Johnny Leslite. Have a look at this Ford Falcon. I see the big mover coming out of the top turns on lap number 1. He's chasing and chasing hard down the range. Run away, Rossi Brims, Roy Granger, Ian Marshall, John Leslite. Ian Marshall is on 3 wheels. He's trying to get all the power to the ground going up the back straight, but John Leslite through on the, oh, that put Granger right around between turns 3 and 4. A very interesting decision out there on the Speedway circuit. Ross Prims, Roy Granger, Johnny Leslite sitting in 3rd placing around the outside. Johnny Sheehan and Carl, John Sheehan on 2 wheels. Coming out of turn number 2, a spectacular move from John Sheehan. Ian Marshall, he's desperate to make up the leeway in the Holden car. Roy Granger almost having a lose coming out of the top 10, slots the car into 4th placing down the main. Oh, Johnny Sheehan, I tell you what, he's almost the point of no return. I haven't seen a Super Sedan bicycle so much to what we're seeing from John Sheehan in car number 4, Dave Stewart. And Ian Marshall having a battle royal coming out of the cannon, coming his turn down the main straight. Dave Stewart, the current South Australian champion. Ian Marshall, he's on 3 wheels. Ian Marshall desperate to pick up points during tonight's last qualifying heat. Side by side down the main straight, John Leslite and Ross Prims. John Leslite has had an absolutely brilliant night of Super Sedan car racing. Would be without doubt in the top 5 as they tally up the points after this last qualifying heat. Johnny Leslite without doubt the big mover coming down the main straight. Ian Marshall, Dave Sheehan almost having their own private dice on the 3-4 turns. Ian Marshall now in 3rd placing going up the back straight away, but Johnny Leslite, he's the man to beat during tonight's last qualifying heat over 12 laps. John Leslite, Ross Prims, Ian Marshall back into 4th placing, Dave Sheehan car number 4. Marshall through on the inside of Ross Prims coming out of turn number 2 has this Holden Commodore. The V8 powered racer got some grunt round this Archerfield Speedway Bowl. A new track record during last Saturday night's feature race to the credit of Ian Marshall in car number 2. One of the most spectacular drivers, normally the motor cars on 3 legs. Tonight's no exception. The left-hand front wheel waves to our Speedway crowd as he powers out of the top turn down the main straight. Oh, Sheehan, almost a lose coming out of the cannon, coming his turn. The wild man of Speedway racing. The white flag this time down the main straight away, Johnny Leslite. We'll park that Noel Graham farm machinery car back there in pit row, a delighted driver. Johnny Leslite seen the top turns for the last time down the main straight. The Lismore 81 racer, Johnny Leslite first. For second, Queensland 2, Ian Marshall. And back to third, the hard-charging Ross Prims in New South Wales 77. The time on the Valvoline and Cape timer at 2 minutes 58.83. The winner's time 2:58.83. Your winner, Speedway fans, all the Ford Falcon supporters, have had a big hand for him. Johnny Leslite, put your hands together for him. A top drive, the Ford Falcon peddler from Lismore in New South Wales. Queensland 2, Ian Marshall second, and back to third, Ross Prims in car 77. The time 2 minutes 58.83. During last night out here at the Astrodome, 15 qualifying heats. A few of the top drivers, to name a couple. The Ian Botched Motors Mazda of Wayne Randall sustaining a flat tyre. The same bad luck going to Ian Marshall in the Keith Mackay's Tyres racer. A couple of cars from New South Wales also suffering motor and tyre failures. After those 15 qualifying heats, some of the best racing witnessed on the east coast of Australia, the two drivers, it's ironic, the two brothers from New South Wales in the way of Ron and John Pine. They've both came out on top on 100 points. 5 more qualifying heats tonight. We hope the Pine brothers can increase those points some drivers well known throughout the length and breadth of Australia. They have got the task ahead tonight to try and pick up those valuable points. Our video made possible by Panda Video. Ron, a great night's racing indeed. You're very, very close indeed, or if not at the top for tonight's racing. How do you feel your chances are in the 35-lap final?
Well, I thought I had a good chance when I come here. I've never been this close before on a national title. I ran third in Tasmania last year. I got the taste of that and I liked it, so there's only one way and that's up. And I'm real confident actually. I've got one heat to go. It is my rear draw, and I have, as you know, my lovely brother in front of me and a couple of other competitors equal to the task as myself, and it's going to be a challenge, but an enjoyable challenge.
Ron, you've been here at Archerfield many, many times during the Cannon Cup Series. Not this year, but many seasons in the past, and I must say this is the best I've seen you go during all your Archerfield visits. The very, very best of luck, and here's hoping I'm talking to you at presentation time tonight. Ronnie Pine from Cessnock in New South Wales.
Thank you very much.
The second half of the Pine brothers from Newcastle in New South Wales, John Pine, with me here at the moment. John, you're an ex-Australian champion. You've won the New South Wales title 5 times. You've virtually won every major event on the east coast of Australia, along with your brother Ron, a very, very creditable 100 points last night. Along with Ron, you've got to be a very confident driver tonight going into those last qualifying heats.
Well, I think tonight's going to be the main guy who picks the right stagger or the right setup for the next heat. That's the guy that's going to come out the top point scorer. So we're way back in the pack, and I think if you have a lot of luck and without any damage and get through, I think that I reckon the guy's not going to be changed much in the lead. I think there's 4 guys that's up in the front in the points are going to be the 4 guys that start off the front bearing bad luck. So I think it's going to be one hell of a race once we get to the final, and I think the best man who gets the right ideas, the right stagger. This track's so tricky, it's changed all weekend. We've chased it from top to bottom. The last race we ran second to my brother. We were touched a little loose. We didn't want to push the car. We could have taken him, but I thought second's better than nothing. You don't get no points when you run last. So I thought, well, sit here, take the points, and that puts us up the front.
Very true indeed, John. And also, along with Ron, you've got an advantage. You've been here many times, both of you from New South Wales. As you mentioned, you know the Archerfield track. You know how it can change. The Queenslanders, obviously, a big advantage, but guys from Tasmania, South Australia, Western Australia, see this track maybe every once in 5-6 years. You drivers who have been here numerous times, it must be a huge advantage, and also to draw, hopefully, the front 2 rows tonight.
Well, it is true. We do have an advantage on a lot of guys that's travelled a long way. But then again, it's as I say, if you just put 2 inches of stagger, these cars are so fast and they get down that straightaway, you've got to get into that turn. If you don't enter that turn properly, and 2 inches of stagger, that's not very much, that's 2 inches of roll out in the tyre. If that's out, you don't enter properly and you don't come off the corner fast. The guy next to you is just going to drive away. And I think if you miss that, you've lost the race. And I think that it's going to be 1:35 lap at full speed, bearing stops. I think it's going to be one of the fastest races, because I think this year I've seen a lot of racing over my time, and this year the cars here, there's 30 cars very close to the half a second between them, and with that sort of pace, I think it's going to be one hell of a race, and just hope bearing crashes, the public's going to see one of the best shows I've been in for a long time.
John, you're a meticulous car setter up. There's nothing left to chance, and I would say that's why you're a name, well, a household name right around Australia. On behalf of Panda Videos, the very best of luck for tonight's assault on the Australian Championship.
Thank you.
The highest Queenslander down here in pit road tonight. I'm talking to a very, very confident John McGeorge from the Gold Coast. Certainly a well-known competitor here at Archerfield Speedway, and may I say, one of the hardest charges in Super Sedan car racing. John gives no quarter, asks no quarter, presents the car in better than showroom style. I do believe, John, you spent quite a few dollars prior to tonight's race meeting, a brand new motor in this beautifully turned out racer.
We put a new motor in the car about 2 weeks ago with the feed by Phil Jack. We believe we've pulled down about 630 horsepower. We've had 2 really good races last night, and again the 3rd race, well, we come in 3rd. So yeah, we're very happy with the car at the present moment.
If you can pick up maximum points tonight, John, with the 2 Pines, we'll say, also getting maximum points, as 5 heats of course to be run tonight, that would put you in the 2nd or 3rd row. Is your opinion the championship will be run from the 1, 2, 3 front rows?
I believe you'll have to come out of the first 2 to 3 rows. I believe, yeah, it'll be a hard push from anywhere back from there.
John, of course, the story will tell after 5 more heats tonight. Who would you consider, after 15 heats of racing last night, to be your hardest competitor to beat?
I believe the two Pine boys, they're really on the pace. There's another one from Western Australia, Ben Ludlow, and they're going to be really hard to beat. You know, we're going to have everything working for us. The track's going to have to, we're going to have to read the track so that we get a good run through the traffic. It'll be a hard 35 laps.
John, yourself, you're well and truly G'd up for tonight. The car, you can't do no more to it. You're both in tip-top shape. On behalf of the Queenslanders, they'll be cheering their lungs out for the boy in car number 98. May I add, congratulations, John McGeorge.
Okay, thanks very much.
Down here with me in pit row, one of the hot shoes out of Victoria, Peter Reeves. Peter, your first time here at Archerfield International Speedway. The first thing I was impressed with last night during the 15 qualifying heats, one of your PR ladies brought all the information up to our race headquarters regarding her sponsors, life history and racing, which to pass on to the public, in my opinion, is very helpful indeed. Peter, firstly, I must say thanks indeed. Secondly, you've had your first look at the Archerfield International Speedway circuit last night. What's your impressions?
It's a little bit different to anything we've ever raced on before. We've raced on similar tracks in the shape-wise, but not the surface. We've never had this combination of a really hooky clay track with straights close together with tight corners, and that's just made it a little bit tough to come to terms with, but we were in there battling.
You've got roughly between 40 and 50 points after last night's qualifying heat. Peter, what would you say the shut-off would be in points to make tonight's championship final?
That's a really tough question. The top cars tend to pinch points from each other, so the top 10 or 15 or 10 or 12 cars, they'll be taking points off, and then there'll be a big bunch of people struggling for those last 5 positions in the starting grid for the final, and we'd hope to fill one of those.
Peter, I sincerely hope you do tonight. Obviously, it's paramount importance to you to try and get up on the 1, 2, 3 without the repechage race and hopefully qualify in the last 8 or 10 positions in the championship final.
Yeah, that's right, Kev. We're starting up the front in our last heat tonight, so we will really make the most of this and come home with a win if possible, if not a second.
Peter, if professionalism gives wins, your team has got it. Congratulations, the very best of luck, and thanks for travelling from Victoria to Archerfield International Raceway.
Thanks very much, Kevin.
With me at the moment from South Australia, beautifully turned out car, may I add, pick up a Speedway magazine, and I would say 7 times out of 10 you'll find a photo of one of the winningest cars out of South Australia, a 3-time South Australian champion, twice for Victoria, and also the Tasmanian champion. Brad, you come to Archerfield International Speedway for this 94 Australian Championship with a host of credentials. You're currently sitting in 10th place on the point score ladder. Tonight, absolutely vital for Brad Scotcher from South Australia. Your first impressions of Archerfield International Speedway circuit. It's your first time here, I do realise that. It is hard to get the car set up, stagger all the gear you guys put on the cars. How'd you find it exactly last night?
Last night was hard, but we ran good at practice, and then everyone says the track's never same to twice, and and last night the track was totally bloody different. We caught us off song, and we know what we've done wrong, so hopefully the track tonight will be the same as last night.
We have been told, Brad, there's a host of Crow Eaters here sitting right behind Carfit from South Australia. May we say the title, Can It Go Back to South Australia? The impressions from Brad Scotcher.
We'll give it our best shot.
I'm sure you will, Brad. The best of luck for tonight. With me at the moment from New South Wales, it's a small town in western New South Wales, Cobar. Nathan Wilson, one of the young drivers here tonight, hopefully will make the race. Not a lot of points after last night's qualifying heats. The repechage race tonight. Nathan, I must admit I haven't known you before tonight, but I tell you what, car preparation, the way you presented yourself last night with the crew, it's an absolute credit to you. Can you tell the folks on Panda Video exactly your hometown experience, where this immaculate Holden Commodore races, and virtually the racing career of Nathan Wilson?
I'm from a small town in central western New South Wales called Cobar. There's only about four cars there, but mainly we travel as far as Newcastle, Parramatta, Gunnedah and Canberra. The car's prepared by my pit crew, David Evans and Craig Conning, who do a tremendous job on it, and it's sponsored by Wilson Drilling in Castrol. And the pit crew put an extreme amount of hours in trying to keep the car looking as good as what it does, and we haven't had any troubles, and we're just standing around waiting to race.
Well, you're certainly very confident for tonight, Nathan. I must say there's a host of fans here from Cobar, Broken Hill, around the western area of New South Wales. No wonder those cheers were heard last night. They're obviously all for young Nathan Wilson.
Thanks very much.
Nathan, you're welcome, and I'll tell you what, we certainly hope to see you back here at Archerfield Speedway in the near future. You're a credit to the sport of speedway racing.
Thanks a lot. Terrific track too.
With me at the moment, our lone lady driver here at Archerfield International Speedway for this prestigious 93-94 championship. One of the the best and well-known names in Australia. I say it sincerely. Tanya Peacock from Lismore in New South Wales. Tanya, firstly I must say congratulations to yourself and Danny. Your race car, without any fear of contradiction, is one of the best presented in Australia. It absolutely gleams under those Saturday night Speedway lights. Last night in particular, I must say it's the best I've seen you go here at Archerfield Speedway. Was that the intent and the pressure of this championship just brought that little bit extra out of Tanya Peacock?
Well, this car is a new car. It's probably about our 7th meeting, and we've progressively gotten better and better. Last night we were a little unlucky in one heat, but I think it did go quite well. But I think it's just a new car, and then I don't think it's the pressure of the Australian title. I just think we're getting better.
Tanya, you've already tasted victory in modified production sedan car racing as far as Australian championships go. What is the thoughts at this present time, with roughly an hour to go before the first qualifying heat tonight? What is the thoughts actually going through the mind of a lady super sedan car driver?
Well, firstly, I need to win my heat tonight. I need to win. I think I'm 16th in points at the moment, but I need to win this heat to actually cement that position. And from there, I guess, features 35 laps. If we're starting down the back, then we play it cool for the first part and see what happens.
Obviously, Tanya, like the rest of the drivers, you'll be hoping for a red light to try and graduate through the field if you can make that championship. And boy, I tell you what, they'll hear you 15 kilometres away. Our ladies in particular here tonight, if that 47 racer from Lismore can greet that checkered flag. May we say, Tanya, on behalf of all the folks here at Archerfield Speedway, you've got an army of supporters, and they're no doubt gunning for that 47 racer. Tanya, the best of luck with you tonight.
Thanks, Kev. Thank you.
To all our Speedway fans, may we extend one of the warmest welcomes possible to Archerfield International Speedway, to the official ASCF Australian Super Sedan Car Championship for 93-94. A warm Queensland welcome also goes to each and every driver taking part in tonight's prestigious event. After last night's 15 qualifying heats, the racing absolutely cutthroat. As I mentioned earlier on, two drivers, the brothers, ironically, from New South Wales, Ron Pine and John Pine, currently tied on 100 points. The two Commodore drivers from Cessnock in New South Wales. To all the drivers from South Australia, Western Australia, Victoria, Tasmania, New South Wales, every state represented here for this prestigious event for 93-94. On behalf of Madam Mr. Billgood, all the staff here at Archerfield International Speedway, may we say the very, very best of luck and a very big thank you for making it one of the best titles ever presented during a long history in the ASCF. To Mr. Doug Carson, the National President of the ASCF, may we also extend a very, very warm welcome here tonight, and the various stewards who will perform a myriad of tasks during this night on the Super Sedan cars for 93-94.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the cars go round, you'll see there'll be a gap in the middle of the front row. We're also paying a tribute here to Grenville Anderson, who is the current Australian champion but unable to defend his title. But Grenville is here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, to watch the racing and to see who'll become the 1994 Australian Super Sedan champion. Would you please give them a nice big round of applause, and don't forget that hole in the middle is for Grenville Anderson, who is the defending champion. Won't be here tonight, but he is here in the crowd, and you'll be meeting him later on. These are the competitors. There's 5 more heats to go and a 35-lap final for the Coca-Cola 1994 Australian Super Sedan champion. Fantastic lineup of cars. The racing was brilliant last night. If you missed it, you'll see some really super action tonight. Cole Bryant in the 33 car. Nick Girdlestone in car number 7. Boy, it's the who's who Super Sedan racing at the moment.
The Archerfield Speedway circuit from the Sunshine Coast, car number 37. Sean Middleton, 95, bringing up the rear base. Shane Paul to Sean Middleton, and Roy Ranger, Big John Dennis, Big O Racing. Coming out of the top turns, down the mains, followed by the Victoria. Oh, plenty of drama on the mains. Oh, Sean Mortimer, have a look at the Granger Racer, car number 10. We have a call, please, for Trevor Limcho to the office, urgently, please. A call for Trevor Limcho to our Speedway office, urgently, please. Okay, can we reel off 12 laps this time round? Complete restarts. Our fan of video productions and Coca-Cola, heat number 1, and Johnny McGeorge, a bullet-like start. as he powers out of the 1-2 turns for the first time, slotting into second place to Victorian. John Potter going up the back straight away from Queensland, car number 14. The Lindsay Hawkins car in third, placing a lightning-like start also from Roy Granger. Everyone in the front end damage, not affecting the car's performance down the main straight. These four cars going like whirlwinds on time. Turns 1 and 2, the big job ahead for Sean Middleton from South Australia in car number 95 at the Pacer Cracker. He's setting the Archerfield Speedway tracker light. The Johnny McGeorge AS Concrete Pumping Service car down the main straight. In second, going a lot better than last night performance from John Rodder from Victoria, one of our long travel Speedway stars of this championship race. Lindsay Hawkins almost coming through on the inside-outside turn number 2. The first 3 motor cars down the main straight away have powered away. From Roy Granger, Shane Polger, Sean Middleton, Nick Girdlestone, surprisingly a long way out of contention, along with Sean Waterbrink, car number 28, but the further the race goes, he's in dynamic, winning form during tonight's action. Johnny McGeorge, a power drive down the main straight away, a sheet of flame. Coming out from under the Ford Falcon down there on turns 1 and 2, Johnny Rodder in the 46 car in second placing, going up the back straight, third spot. Back to Lindsay Hawkins, car number 14, and the number 10 car of Roy Granger. They're spread virtually right round the Speedway circuit. During this 12-lap encounter, John McGeorge, John Rodder. Lindsay Hawkins, there's virtually panels, fiberglass. Hang off the motor car, every panel, the rear, the sides, the front of the Roy Granger car coming out of turn number 2. Johnny McGeorge is lapping Nick Girdlestone of the EV Ford Falcon going across the start-finish line. Johnny Rodder. He's intent on securing second place in these points, absolutely paramount to decide who will be our 20 cars for tonight's 35-lap ASCF Australian Super Sedan Car Championship. John McGeorge already in second placing, sitting comfortably on 97 points going up the back straight. Johnny Rodder in second, still the Central Queensland car. Lindsay Hawkins back in the pack. Shane Polger, car number 37, and the Sean Mortimer Ford Falcon, the race leader. Can we see a new time? The record being broken 3 times during last night's 15-lap heats. Can we see it being broken tonight? 3 minutes 13.50. The brand new time to the credit of Johnny Pine from Cessnock in New South Wales. 3 minutes 13. Johnny McGeorge, we should see a white flag being displayed very, very shortly. John McGeorge jumps on the down pedal, pulls on the power coming out of the top turn. He's making sure this brand new motor in this EV Ford Falcon can take the strain of 35 laps of Super Sedan car racing. He must realise a mammoth race lead going up the back straight through the 3-4 turns. In second place in the Victorian, John Rodder, car number 46. And back in the third, Lindsay Hawkins, car number 14. The laps rapidly running out. We'll see the checkered flag being displayed next time round. 3 minutes 09, just ticking away on our valve unit coke timer. Amongst the left cars coming out of the top turn, a little bit slower than last night, 3 minutes 22.03. But what a brilliant drive, Speedway fans. The Queenslander Johnny McGeorge, car number 98, taking a brilliant drive in the opening heat. From Victoria, car number 46, John Rodder for second, and back to third, Queensland 14 of Lindsay Hawkins. The time 3 minutes 22.03.
Number 4. Main straight, the green light's on. And Nathan Wilson, race leader. Paddy Ward in second place. We've got a pile up down here with Johnny Sheen. Collar back straight. And look for the green as they come up out of turn number 4. And Nathan Wilson takes over the lead one more time. Neville Harper puts the big Ford Thunderbird down there on the inside. He's trying to get up there. He's in the 4th place. Tony Giancola around the outside. He's up in a 6 at the moment in the Commodore. But it's Nathan Wilson, Paddy Ward, Robert Gray and Neville Harper. Two Commodores leading the field. One Chip Camaro, Robert Gray, Western Australia. And Neville Harper in the big Ford Thunderbird. But it's Nathan Wilson, looking very cool. As he heads out of turn number 4 up the main straight. Paddy Ward still in second place. 29, Steve Manning, about to be lapped here. The passing flag coming out. Nathan Wilson, Paddy Ward, Robert Gray, Neville Harper, Bruce Tate, Robert Gray getting a bit closer now to the back of Paddy Ward. So head up the main straight. Still no change as Nathan Wilson heads down the back straight. Paddy Ward still only off a second place challenge here from Robert Gray, Western Australia. And up on the slower cars, Nathan Wilson. Having a very cool drive out there in the lead, Nathan Wilson. Paddy Ward still in second place from Robert Gray, Western Australia. And the lap starting to run by now, 2 laps to go. Nathan Wilson, New South Wales. Paddy Ward, New South Wales. Robert Gray, Western Australia, and Neville Harper from Tasmania. Up the main straight they come, and our race leader takes a white flag, 1 lap to go. Nathan Wilson. Down the back straight he goes for the last time. And checkered flag time for heat number 2, Nathan Wilson. Okay, how about you put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Nathan Wilson, car number 42 from New South Wales, the winner of heat number 2. Second place there in the 24 car, also from New South Wales, Paddy Ward. In third place from Western Australia in the 24 car, we had Robert Gray. And third place, Neville Harper from Tasmania. Straight. You're looking for the green as they come out of turn number 4, but I don't think they'll get it this time. This they have. Alan Butcher just hanging back there. Alan Baker in the lead. Stu Robertson in second place as they head out the Courier-Mall corner down the back straight. Craig Bosburn back there in third. Peter Aylett, Ross Brims. Alan Butcher, keeping his 2 guys honest out there in front. Alan Baker and Stu Robertson. Commodore of Alan Baker. Leads the Falcon of Stu Robertson. Chef Camaro, Alan Butcher. So head out of turn number 4, Alan Butcher trying to climb up the inside of Stu Robertson. Big puff of smoke out of the Falcon as it heads out of turn number 2 down the back straight. Alan Butcher up the inside this time as they head into turn 3. Has he got him high enough up the track, but Alan Butcher backs off a little bit. It's Alan Baker, Stu Robertson, Alan Butcher, Ross Brims. Slow change in our race leader, Alan Baker. Picks the left-hand front wheel of the car up as he come out of turn number 4 up the main straight, right on the gas. Stu Robertson just putting a little bit of ground back on Alan Baker as they head into turn number 4 up the main straight. And the Falcon catching the Commodore up as Alan Butcher is just lurking, waiting. Alan Butcher now around the outside of Stu Robertson as they go down into turn 3, turn 4. And Alan Butcher might have the grunt. Has he got it? As they head up the main straight, he moves into second spot. Alan Baker, still the race leader from Alan Butcher and Stu Robertson this time. The passing flag going out. 2 laps to go for Alan Baker and Alan Butcher and Stu Robertson. Ross Prim's back there in 4th place. Some of the guys really struggling out there at the moment. Heat 3. 1 lap to go for Alan Baker, Alan Butcher and Stu Robertson. Up on the high sides, Alan Baker. He comes up to Western Australian Craig Bosberg. Out of turn number 4 they come. The checkered flag looming up right now for Alan Baker, Alan Butcher and Stu Robertson.
Without doubt, a very spectacular car and driver, a nicely turned out racer. Can we see him winning heat number 4 as they come out of the top turns, waiting a start down the main straight. It's side by side, nose to tail. Oh, Nissan's car onto the infield. Car number 7, we should see red lights being turned on trackside. Are they absolutely keen to go racing? Are these points absolutely paramount? Straight Peter Drew from South Australia, car number 8. The green light's turned on, it's action time down the race, but away goes Peter Reeves. Oh, Tanya Peacock, thank you very much indeed. Brad Scotcher, motor cars every which way but loose coming out of the 1-2 turns and up the back straight away. The pacer cracker down there on turns 1 and 2, and Peter Reeves, the Victorian, in the lane. Rotary Mazda showing the fastest way around the Archerfield Speedway circuit. Brad Scotcher, he's wheeling far in Brimstone in second, placing the big mover. Rod Precise having no joy going across the start-finish line. Tanya Peacock trying to bounce back in the 47 car. Ian Marshall, as usual, the car on 3 wheels as he pounds over the top turn. And a protest flag being shown to Brad Scotcher in car number 50. He's taking some wild lines around the Speedway circuit. Tanya Peacock, our lady driver, in 4th, placing a big challenge. About to come from Peter Drew going up the back straight. Just have a look at this dice. It's action-packed racing coming out of the top turns. And a protest flag to Brad Scotcher in South Australia 50. Ian Marshall still sitting in a comfortable 3rd place. He can reach 2nd going up the back straight. Peter Drew trying to get underneath the Tanya Peacock car as they flash past of Albion and Cape Timer. This is without doubt one of our most hard-fought heats. In Sleeper Sedan car racing, 6-7 cars, nose to tail. Centimetres separating the first 4 cars coming out of the bottom turns. And Peter Reeves, without doubt, putting on a blind to Tanya Peacock. Almost showing the Ian Marshall car coming out of the top turns. They're closing down the main straight. A new race leader on the way of the South Australian, Brad Scotcher. He's heading Victoria, New South Wales. Oh, Ian Marshall. Right around outside, turn number 2, onto the infield, back onto the Speedway circuit. Is it all happening during this second last heat? Peter Reeves, he's being bopped around like a cork of the ocean. The Rotary Mazda from Victoria. A big challenge from Water coming out of turn number 2. Darryl Stagg aboard the Paul O'Neill racer. Round the outside of Peter Reeves, he's got power to burn down the main straight. Plenty of tear-offs flying out the rear of the race leader's car. Here's the game, Tanya Peacock. Almost sure the inside of Brad Scotcher coming out of turn number 2. Our lady driver, I say, is entering this room on the inside. Down the main straight away. What a race up front, Speedway fans. Warm up those hands. This is superlative. Brad Scotcher, Tanya Peacock, has she got power to burn in this NBN television car from New South Wales. Have a look at Darryl Stagg. He's in the 3rd spot coming out of the top turns. Oh, Brad Scotcher. coming on trackside, top stewarding from Mick Cottrell. The ASCF steward from Victoria, Tanya Peacock. Well, Speedway fans, I bet you give it to her. Let's hear it for Tanya Peacock. Tell you what, Tanya, there's plenty of fans riding with you out there in the NBN television car from New South Wales. They want to see Tanya Peacock pick up the checkered flag during our second last heat tonight. Do you want to see Tanya Peacock win, Speedway fans? First represented during our second last round of heats. Do we see a green coming on this time? Tanya Peacock anticipates the start beautifully coming out of the top turns. The NBN television car down the main straight. In second placing, Daryl Stagg, car number 8, back into third. And Cape Time the inside, the outside. Ian Marshall, Peter Reeves coming out of the top turn, but it's Tanya Peacock. She's showing the fastest way around the Archerfield International Speedway circuit. In second placing, Daryl Stagg, back into third. The points paramount. No joy during last night's heat for Ian Marshall. In car number 2, back into fourth placing, Peter Reeves down the main straight. And Peter Drew in car number 8, the pacer cracker. Daryl Stagg making no impression on the lady driver from New South Wales going past our Valmian and Cape Timer, Tanya Peacock. There's plenty of panel damage. That would be the last thought in Tanya Peacock's mind. She wants to qualify. She's going to qualify for tonight's 35-lap Australian Super Sedan Car Championship. No change. She goes away. Plants the loud pedal going up the back straightaway. Puts the car sideways on. Out of the top turn. Down the main straight. The checker ready. And Tanya Peacock, New South Wales, 47 first. Second placing, going to Victoria 8 of Daryl Stagg, and back into third, the Queensland 2 racer of Ian Marshall.
His hands now as they head down the back straight. This is heat number 5, the last heat, before we make it to the 35-lap Coca-Cola final. Here they come and bash, bang, boom, down there in turn number 4, and the red flags are straight on the track. Ron Pine stranded down there in turn number 4. Close line back there on the inside of the second row with Steve Stewart, South Australia. Here they come. And John Pine gets a hole shot. So did Ronnie Pine. And car number 6, we've got a problem. The lights have gone out around the track. We'll wait for the green as they come into the main straight. And they're set to judge. Phil Townsend leads up the main straight from Johnny Leslie, Steve Stewart. Here comes John Pine. Ronnie Pine couldn't get the big deal that time. Benny Ludlow's up there as well. But man, the action's on. It's up the main straight they come. Phil Townsend, the race leader. Down the back straight they go. Johnny Leslie in second place. Steve Stewart's back there. Stephen Miller. John Pine. Oh, here's a problem down here in turn number 3 and 4. Bang, crash, boom. Hey, these guys are trying hard. His hands once more as we head down the back straight. Phil Townsend, Johnny Leslie, hit on the gas as they come up the main straight. John Pine down to the low line. He slips up into position 2. The race leader as they come out of the Courier Mile corner down the back straight. All hooked up. Phil Townsend, Johnny Pine, Johnny Leslie, Steve Stewart, Steve Miller, and Ron Pine. Down the back straight, still no change. Phil Townsend leads from John Pine. Down the low line, he tries to come now, pick up a bit of ground. Johnny Leslie back there in third. Whoops, as Ronnie Pine gets it completely crossed up, coming out of turn number 4. Hey, the heat is on. Phil Townsend, Johnny Pine down the inside as they come up the main straight. Into the Courier Mile corner they go. And Phil Townsend hangs on. Johnny Pine sitting back there right out of the piece exhaust. And has another shot down the inside as they come up the main straight. John Leslie, Steve Stewart. Has Ron Pine about to pull onto the infield. Down the inside, Johnny Pine sticks the nose of the Chevy. In the Courier Mile corner, they come once more down the back straight. It's still Phil Townsend The backfiring of John Pine as the cars come out of turn number 4 up the main straight one more time. Still no change. Phil Townsend. Whoa, Johnny Pine just clipped the wall there in the main straight. Just trying a little bit too hard. Johnny Leslight back there in 3rd spot. And now, can he get down the inside? The laps are starting to run out in heat 5. Here he comes up the inside. John Pine, Phil Townsend on the outside as they come around through into the Courier Mail corner down the back straight. John Pine takes over the race lead. Phil Townsend in 2nd place. Johnny Leslight back there in 3rd. Steve Stewart, Stephen Miller. As the race leader heads up the main straight there. 2 laps to go. John Pine. Phil Townsend. And well and truly cleared out for the rest. The white flag out, 1 lap to go here for John Pine. Whoops, a daisy. Right in the main straight on the start-finish line. So what's going to happen? Johnny Pine, if he wins this one, which looks like he will, he'll be the highest point scorer for the whole of the heats for the 2 nights. Okay, Phil Townsend just moving the car off the track. Heat number 5, Johnny Pine in the lead from John Leslight, Steve Stewart, Steve Miller, Benny Ludlow. Out the Courier Mail corner down the back straight. I don't think there'll be much change out of this one. The white flag coming back out here. 1 lap to go for heat 5 for John Pine. Johnny Leslight still in 2nd place. And Steve Stewart from South Australia in 3rd. Up the main straight, the checkered flag. Okay, 32.04 for 2 laps. Let's hear it for the heat winner, heat number 5, John Pine. Okay, he doesn't want to talk. Okay, 2nd place they're going to Johnny Leslight from Lismore. And 3rd place to Steve Stewart from South Australia. The time 32.04. Mate, it's good to see you here.
Yeah, I love being here. It's a good track. It's a good crowd. I guess Easter didn't finish for me because Easter Bunny's come in pink, I guess, because that guy in that pink car has got to be a bunny. I cleanly went right around the outside of the guy and he dished me up straight into the goddamn wall and put one of the front runners out. I do believe, I hope that Chief Stewart's seen it because I certainly felt it and knocked my fuel system completely out. I rolled around to a stop. I'm really disappointed, but I know I'll be back in there, maybe 10 or 11 position, and you watch me in the last 5 laps.
There you go, Ronnie Pine, ladies and gentlemen, driver of the Commodore car number 3. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like a big warm welcome here to Alderman Les Bryant, the member for Richlands and chairman of the council, and welcome here, Mr. Bryant, or Les. Better keep it a bit more unofficial, eh? And hope you welcome everybody here as well, and hope you're enjoying yourself so far tonight's racing.
Thanks very much. It's indeed a pleasure to be here this evening. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the International Speedway at Archerfield. This venue has been in this place for quite some time now and has entertained many hundreds of thousands of people over a number of years. And the spectacular racing you'll see this evening is a culmination of a lot of work by the promoter. And I thank Bill Good and the promoters of Archerfield International Speedway for allowing my wife and I, my wife Margaret and I, the privilege of being with you this evening.
Okay, I'm going to hand over to our Alderman Les Bryant to the famous words from the Indianapolis Raceway, right here at Archerfield Speedway. Just Les, we're just waiting for a couple of the drivers there to put their helmets on and get their race faces on, as a lot of people might say, because I'll tell you what, there's a lot of brain power out there as well as horsepower.
Yeah, one of the most important facets of racing is safety, of course, and the safety of those people who are sitting inside those vehicles is paramount at any racetrack. And I was only talking to Bill Good. One of the things that Bill has concentrated on here is improving safety, not only for the drivers but for the spectators, and that's a very important issue. It's no good coming and seeing good racing if people get hurt.
It sure is. Everybody likes to see an accident, but I also like to see them get out.
Well, the blood and guts is kept best within the body, not without it.
Okay, we've got those famous words coming. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Alderman Les Bryant, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the minute you've all been waiting for. Drivers, start your engines.
Whoa! And the 1994 Coca-Cola Australian Super Sedan Championship just firing up. Okay, the car's running around the track prior to the start of the 35-lap Coca-Cola Australian Championship for the Super Sedans. John Pine, John McGeorge, front row of the grid. Second row, John Leslide, Alan Baker, Lindsay Hawkins and Ben Ludlow. Ron Pine and John Rodder make up row 4. Tanya Peacock, Nathan Wilson. We're in starters' hands now as the cars roll down the back straight. John McGeorge on the outside in the Falcon. But 3 Falcons in the first 4 positions. Here we go, up the main straight. The green flag's out and they're away. Start of the championship. John Pine back into the lead. From John McGeorge, Alan Baker. And we've got a stop over here at the moment. Ian Marshall. And Greg Hodges. Main. And green light it is. John McGeorge on the outside. Oh, Alan Baker's come unstuck a little bit there as John McGeorge leads John Pine, Johnny Leslide, Alan Baker. And Alan Baker having heaps of problems trying to keep the Falcon on the track. John McGeorge from John Pine, Johnny Leslide, Benny Ludlow. John Rodder. Benny Ludlow up the inside now of Johnny Leslide. As Ian Marshall pulls onto the infield with a blown inside rear tyre. John McGeorge from John Pine, they've cleared out from the rest. Here comes Benny Ludlow and John Rodder. Alan Baker back there in 5th spot. A couple of smokies out there at the moment. And the red light's coming on here. Nick Girdlestone, parked in the wall. Fine. We are now, and any time, any tick of the clock. Green light's back on here for John McGeorge, John Pine, and John Pine looking down the inside of John McGeorge. They come out of the Courier Mail corner down the back straight. John McGeorge and Johnny Pine starting to clear away from Benny Ludlow as they head up the main straight one more time. John Rodder, Johnny Leslie, Alan Baker, and Ron Pine. Down the back straight they go. John McGeorge still leads from John Pine and Benny Ludlow. Coming up on the slow cars, the passing flag about to come out. Up the inside of Keith Rubeck as they head down the back straight. Nick Girdlestone's car looking a bit sad there as it rolls around the track. But John McGeorge, our race leader, from John Pine. Benny Ludlow, John Rodder. Tom McGeorge is settling down there, trying to get up the inside of Ross Brims. He's done so as they come up there. John Pine just looks for the inside run on John McGeorge. They head down the back straight. I've got a couple of more of the slower car. Nick Girdlestone, Craig Bosberg. And Johnny Pine just slips through past the inside of John McGeorge as they head down the back straight. Slowed John McGeorge down. Benny Ludlow still there in 3rd place from John Rodder. Coming on the back of Nick Girdlestone now. John Pine, the race leader from John McGeorge. Ben Ludlow, John Rodder, Alan Baker, Nathan Wilson, Johnny Leslie. They head up the main straight. John Pine, a little bit of trouble there. He digs in deep. Still from John McGeorge. Benny Ludlow still in 3rd. John Pine trying to get past Steve Stewart at the moment. So cars run up the track. John Pine down the inside, pushes Steve Stewart out of the way. Oh, smoke billowing out of John Pine's car. Does he come out of turn number 4? Has he got problems? Heard heaps of smoke billowing out of the one car. John McGeorge still back there in second place from Benny Ludlow. John Rodder and Alan Baker. The smoke billowing out of the John Pine pit crew car. John McGeorge still holding down second place as Nathan Wilson pulls onto the infield. The red light's coming on. Well, quite a few laps gone by the boards then. Fantastic racing. John Pine is the race leader from John McGeorge and Benny Ludlow from Western Australia. John Rodder sits back there in 4th place in the fourth. As we enter the back straight, we're in starters' hands now as they head down the back straight. 13 laps to go. John Pine, John McGeorge, Ben Ludlow. Here they come up the main straight. Chip Camaro and the Falcon. So head down the back straight. John Pine, can he do it, or can John McGeorge get past? John McGeorge keeping John Pine honest. The Falcon and the Chev Camaro. Alan Baker losing it down here in turn number 4. McGeorge trying to size up Johnny Pine as they head up the main straight. The green light's back on. And I think John Pine's got a few little problems with the car. It's starting to buck and weave. And the red light's coming back on. And what for this time? We're about to find out. The green light about to come back on. He's up the inside. And he's taken the lead. Away. He has. Come on, Becker. Keep that car going. The Falcon. Johnny Pine back there in second place, followed by John Rodder. Alan Baker. Alan Baker up the inside of John Rodder. As they head down up the main straight. John McGeorge from John Pine. Alan Baker, Johnny Leslie. And starting to clear away. Keep it up, Magga. About time another Queenslander won the title. Down the back straight they go. John McGeorge from John Pine. Alan Baker, Johnny Leslie. Come on, Johnny Leslie. So head up the main straight. There can't be too many more laps to go. Johnny Leslie's up in the third. And the Falcons really holding their own about the big Chevs. Up the main straight he comes. Will he be the new Australian champion, John McGeorge? Leads a length of the straight from John Pine, John Leslie, Alan Baker. Ron Pine, Tanya Peacock. And the red light's coming on here. George. Can he hold off the snarling back? He puts the foot down on the Falcon, up the main straight he goes. He goes down through turn 1 and 2. He starts to get a bit of a lead on Johnny Pine as they head down the back straight. Johnny Leslie, he's on. Up the main straight they come. And 2 laps to go. As Ron Pine gets up the inside of Johnny Leslie. Out of turn number 4 up the main straight. And the white flag out, 1 lap to go for John McGeorge. John Pine. Johnny Leslie. And out of turn number 4, here comes a new Australian champion, John McGeorge. Second place, and who will it be? Whoa, Ron Pine and John Pine in sec third. Whoa, John McGeorge, come on down. I just want to confirm the second and third place getters, whether it's Ron Pine, then John Pine. We'll wait for the official results. But our new 1994 Australian Super Sedan champion is John McGeorge. So he's done a pretty good job. The Australian and the checkered flag for John McGeorge. Okay, John McGeorge, ladies and gentlemen.
And you can always count on a Queenslander, John McGeorge. Congratulations, John, well done.
Oh, Macca, we've also got something else for you too. We'll put you up on the podium.
John, it gives me great to you the trophy for winning this evening's main race, the Australian champ.
Okay. Oh, he looks pretty good. He's got a bottle of champagne, but I don't like the look of that. Okay, we're going to do a presentation to second and third place as they come across the line, but there is a protest on at the moment. So, second across the line went to Ronnie Pine from New South Wales. Ron, congratulations, but we'll just see what happens at the moment under the protest.
It's real. The guy had a big... and Johnny Leslie took advantage of it. Johnny chose to go the outside corner. I went the inside. Hey, that's racing. That's what it's all about. Races are won on the track, not in a god room. We know who won. We know who comes third, and they should stay like it.
Okay, that was Ronnie Pine. And third across the line, albeit up on the wall, is Johnny Pine. John, it's good to see you back here, and we'll just wait to see what the protest comes out at.
Well, John's the winner, but you know we couldn't keep the lead. The car broke a shock absorber, and every time he come in the corner, it just bounced a little. So I had to concede to John and let him go because you know he's a better man on the night. But I don't know what happened the last lap. I got a helping hand there on the turn 1 and 2, then I lean on 3 and 4, and you know I passed the line on the wall. But that's not the way to finish a race.
Thanks very much, John.
Australia Saloon Car Federation, I'd like to present John with the Perpetual Trophy. It's been won many times over the last 10 or 15 years, and we'd like to present this to John for winning this magnificent race here tonight. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot.
Come on, Mac, you better say a few words, eh?
Well, it must be my turn, and it's my night tonight. We had a hard weekend, and we've worked a lot on the car. I've got a couple of people I've got to thank. Mainly our pit crew, Terry Pygram, John Pygram, Craig McGeorge. There's a couple others there, Kerry Russell, who does a lot of work for us. Also Dave Conlon, who helps us set our suspension. Anybody else out there who has helped us, I'd like to thank them as well. It's really great standing up here, I can tell you. Thanks a lot.
Good on you, John. Whoa! Look out for the champers. Okay, I've got Ronnie Pine. Just like to say a couple of words.
Thanks, mate. I'd like to thank my sponsors, Castrol Australia, Auto One, all the little guys, Wattle Australia, all the little guys that helped me on my way, my family, and especially my pit crew. We went close to it in Tasmania last year. My feelings on the race is there's only one champion in my books, I'm afraid, and I'm sorry to say it, but it's Grenville Anderson, and I really do feel for the guy. I'd really like a round of applause because we all really know who the champ is. I'm sorry, Jono, but you are this year. Grenville is always.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, coming out on the track now, we have Grenville Anderson.
Congratulate them. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, John. Okay, they're all the three place candidates coming up there. Just have a congratulations to Grenville. And two Australian champions having a bit of a gap together there, John McGeorge and Grenville.
See a start this time, certainly a big field for our 15-lap Consolation feature race. They've done it all hanging out down the main straight. Alan Butcher without doubt the boy that beat on turns 1 and 2. Ryan Nissan, he's sandwiched between motorcars. They come out of turn number 2. There's Drama. Outside the Courier Mail, turn number 2, Peter Reeves. Getting shuffled back through the field in coming with them. One boy right around between. Oh, Drama. Peter Reeves, the Rotary Mazda. The bonnet off one of the racers, Ronnie Dalton from Victoria, going across the start-finish line. Coming out very shortly. Speedway Racing Queensland Style. We should have it out here at the end of this month on sale of the brand new Speedway magazine. Oh, Peter right up and over the wheel as they go across the strike. It's coming into a real demolition derby coming out of turn number 2. Alan Butcher doing it in superb style, going up the back straight away. A big move round the outside by Rod Precise. And also Bruce Tater Victoria. Oh, one boy, Shane Polger. Loops the motor car in the Cannon Copiers turn. Are they turning on the action? Are they turning on the fireworks? During this 15-lap Consolation. 3 restart. Green lights turned on. We're racing down the main straight. Can we go right through this time with no more race stoppages? The Pacer Cracker as they fly out of the 1-2 turns, work the back straight away. Stephen Miller from South Australia from the Miller Racing family. In a nice placing coming down the main straight from Alan Butcher. Dictating the tempo. Oh, a wild move from the number 9. Oh, number 9. Bruce Tate slam. Wow, Polger involved. Have we got chaos? Have we got drama? Green lights turned on coming out of the turns. Alan Butcher, Ronnie Dalton, Robert Gray as they approach the 1-2 turns. Robert Gray, the big mover, trying to get through on the inside of the Victorian car as they race the back straight away. Back into 4th placing, Peter Wright. Alan Butcher knowing every centimetre of this super fast Archerfield clay bowl here on the Speedway night. Ronnie Dalton, Robert Gray, Peter Wright. John Sheehan, Brian Nissen. Slamming together going across the start-finish line. Bruce Tate from Victoria, car number 35. Green flag way down the main straight. Robert Gray trying for an inside passing move on the Roland Dalton car coming out of turns 1 and 2. The big movers working the back straight away. He's got horsepower to burn. Alan Butcher, plenty of driving expertise, the twice national champion, and at the present moment showing the fastest way around the Archerfield International Speedway Circuit. There's room on the inside. Robert Gray and Ronnie Dalton, who's going to come out of turn number 2 on top. Aided by the outside run, Ronnie Dalton still in second placing going up the back straight. But the big challenge certainly coming from the boy from West Australia, Robert Gray in the 24 car down the main straight. Alan Butcher putting in some very tidy race laps going up the back straight. Robert Gray, Ronnie Dalton. The 2 cars touching for one moment coming out of the top turn, a sporting gesture. Robert Gray letting Ron Dalton get back into second placing as they work the 1-2 turns. Two laps remaining. Alan Butcher, a commanding race lead. He's got this one safely in his keeping. The Barry Pierce American Truck Spares racer. Ronnie Dalton, Robert Gray, and these boys put plenty of life and sparkle into this Consolation race. They're still virtually nose to tail, almost side by side. Ronnie Dalton covering his tracks nicely coming out of the 1-2 turns. There's no room in the inside. Robert Gray will have to work hard going up the back straight away. The top turns left to go, but Alan Butcher, a big winner. Tonight's Consolation winner, car number 83 first. For second, Ron Dalton, the Victorian, and across the strike for third, going into South Australia, car number 24, Robbie Gray, your official placing Speedway fans to wind up this 93-94 Australian Super Sedan Car Championship